No. Unique on the line. Bronx Tales True Crime. IDAHO and the TruCrime Cafe. The last 24 all day. Pavarotti, harsh reality. Truth and transparency. Jules, true crime reactions, eyes wide. Hildreth investigates. Won't slide. We read the blood in the paper. We trace the light of the maker. Every cover-up starts to shake. When the facts awake, we won't stop, till the truth breaks through. We won't stop, till the truth comes through. Exposing every lie, day after day. We won't stop, till the truth stays. Till the truth stays. Amber Vance with the thread in hand. Travis T. Logic, make it understand. Glitch DNA in the case file glow. Tearing them apart, let the details show. IDAHO for every name we speak. Delphi, Karen Reed, we stay on the streak. Every contradiction, every hidden door, we're kicking it open, asking for more. No polished smile can save you. No silence gets to save you. If the story bends for power, we come back louder. We won't stop, till the truth breaks through. We won't stop, till the truth comes through. Exposing every lie, day after day. We won't stop, till the truth stays. Facts in the dark, we drag them in today. Every mask, every mark gets stripped away. Corruption in every way, we name it plain. Till the last false word, it's gone in the till the truth breaks through. We won't stop, till the truth comes through. Exposing every lie, day after day. We won't stop, till the truth stays. We were all there, in the chair, in the room, the blackest nights in the moon. 4 people murdered in the night. My innocence taken, I'm guilty. I did not fight. You You took it all away in the end. There was nothing left. All redacted, blacked out. Corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now. All redacted, blacked out. Corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now. I said it then, I'll say it now. I'm innocent, they blacked me out. I'm a fool, I'm a man, I'll never say I did it. I can't. She took it all away in the end. There was nothing left. All redacted, blacked out. Corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now. All redacted, blacked out. Corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now. Nothing left for me now. Nowhere to turn to. I thought you were here to protect and serve, not ruin my life. I thought you were here to protect and serve, but you lied. All redacted, blacked out. Corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now. All redacted, blacked out. Corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the cafe. Long time no see. It's great to have you all back here in the house with us tonight. This has been an amazing day. I have been joined by Bronx Tales, Miss Logan, all day long. I am super happy for this. Earlier show was amazing. We broke down the Brian Koberger's psychological eval breakdown in the new document. Awesome stuff. Learned a lot. Good to know. Super, super excited to be able to do that with Logan. And again, I have the honor of having her join me one more time today, guys, as we go in and we break down and discuss and react to the new Dr. Turvey interview. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Logan will be joining me here again shortly. And I can't wait for this one, you guys, because this one, I'm telling you, I watched a couple pieces of this earlier with Sarge. Wow. There's some nuggets in here for sure. And we're going to get it completely, all of it, the full deal. And I'm excited I get to do this with Logan because I love picking her mind over how she thinks on certain things, as well as all of you and her community, her amazing community that comes in here with us too. Truly love, adore, and appreciate all of you as well and your thoughts and feelings. So it's going to be a great one, guys. It really is. So please make sure to hit the like button when you come in here. The link for Bronx Tales is in the chat. Make sure you click on that link, hop on over. It just takes a second to hit the like button, share it out, and make sure you guys are fully subscribed and hit the notifier. That way you don't miss anything Miss Logan puts out. You don't want to miss it, guys. This is going to be a great show again tonight. Thank you all for being here. You guys are amazing. Very much so. That being said, you guys know how this goes. Let's do our ting. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Rolling up on the scene. Dago's got that stare red light on the screen. Pouring up truth every damn day. Names, faces, dates, he don't look away. Pin maps, cold files on the wall. String runs tight from the big shots, his halls. You feel that chill when he says that name. Someone's shadow, someone's shame. True Crime Cafe, he's serving the proof. Hot cup of pain, cold steel of the truth. Seeking justice, seeking reality. Voice for the voiceless, he speaks for the street. True Crime Cafe, every single day. Pulling on the threads till they all give way. Corruption in the veins, he's calling it out. No way, no peace till justice is found. Backroom deals under neon signs. He reads one line, then follows the lies. Crack tape, low sound, he can hear that bleed. Somebody out there, come remember me. He don't blink when the story gets dark. He just digs deeper, strikes that spark. You'll hear that rage rotting under his breath. Every question a dare, every pause a threat. True Crime Cafe, he's serving the proof. Hot cup of pain, cold steel of the truth. Yeah. Seeking justice, seeking reality. Voice for the voiceless, he speaks for the street. True Crime Cafe, every single day. Pulling on the threads till they all give way. Corruption in the veins, he's calling it out. No way, no peace till justice is found. No way, no justice, no use in the lies. He tears down the curtain, looks dead in their eyes. Whoa! You feel that verdict rising inside your chest, till the guilty confess, till the broken can rest. True Crime Cafe, he's serving the proof. Hot cup of pain, cold steel of the truth. Seeking justice, seeking reality. Voice for the voiceless, he speaks for the street. True Crime Cafe, every single day. Pulling on the threads till they all give way. Corruption in essence, he's burning it down. No way, no peace till justice is found.
The darkest stories are served here.
All right, guys, welcome back. Thank you all for joining us here again tonight at the cafe. So very excited to be able to do this again. One of show two of show two of two today. Sorry about that. Again, I was joined earlier for those of you that weren't here with Miss Logan from Bronx Tales True Crime, as we broke down some of the documents in the Idaho 4 case. Um, Very interesting stuff, guys. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. Tonight, guys, we are going to jump in to the new Dr. Turvey interview that came out and break that down together. Again, I am super excited for this. This is a wild one, guys. There's some interesting points in this. I got to see pieces of it earlier, but I'm gonna get to do it all together with Miss Logan tonight, and it's gonna be interesting. I'll just tell you that right now. So make sure you guys hit that like button and share this out if you will, for those of you that have hopped into the cafe. And if you guys are over at Bronx Tales True Crime, please do the same thing over there. And if you're not, hop on over there with that link in chat. Make sure you show Logan some love. Hit that like button, share it out, and of course Bronxy as well. We can't. You got to show him love as well. And let everybody know what we're doing tonight, guys. It's been a fun-filled day, and we're about to kick it off again. She should be joining me here anytime. She needed to take a little break, do some things. I don't know. Maybe she stopped off at the bar. Who knows? She's not around yet, guys. I don't know. Am I? Oh, speak of the devil. Okay, my apologies. Hold on. I know I'm a dork, you guys. Don't worry about me. Hold on. Let me see who it is. Hold on. Hold on. Good Lord. Patience, Logan. Patience. There she is.
I've been standing at your door for an hour.
I kind of thought. My apologies. I
I
talked too
thought
much.
you said it was 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I know. I
How
messed up.
rude.
I messed up. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Of course.
Awesome.
As long as we can talk about Idaho 4 tonight, then I forgive you.
Okay. Well, we got an interview and a half to watch, you guys. I'm telling you, this is I'll be honest with you. I was kind of on the fence with Dr. Turvey for a while after the first time he came out. Well, after I watched this, I kind of just 100%. I believe this guy. I do. From what I've seen, I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen pieces of it. So what I've seen so far, I believe in it. So we'll see. I want your guys' of course, Logan's opinion is what I want for sure, and of course your guys' opinions as well as to what you think. Do you guys believe him after we see this? Do you think he's out here for the right reason? I think Logan ran a poll in her chat. I think I'm going to do the same thing.
Yep, I was gonna say, do the same thing. I'm very curious to see the outcome before we play the interview, as opposed to after we played the interview. So let's make sure we run the same poll after the interview as well.
How did you word your poll, Logan? What did you ask?
I said, let's see. Do you believe Dr. Turvey's information? Question mark. Yes, no, or guacamole.
I love that. I started doing that too.
Guacamole is pretty high on the list. It's almost winning. I have this one lone fruit fly still.
I seen you doing this earlier.
So it will not go away. I cannot get rid of it. It's literally just one. Now I have a fly swatter. Driving me nutso.
Yeah, fruit flies or gnats or whatever, they drive me insane. I get them from time to time too. All right, I have my poll up as well now. Do you believe Dr. Turvey's statements? Yes, no, or ramalama ding dong? Holy shit, 100%. Okay. Welcome in, everybody, and welcome back to all of you. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Please, again, make sure to hit the like button on both sides of the gate here. Share this out. Let everybody know what we're doing over here tonight. It's been a hell of a day. It's going to get even better here in just a few minutes as we break down Dr. Turvey's a new interview he did with, I think it's Donna Ratuno over at Crime and Justice. For those of you that aren't familiar, Donna is an attorney as well, and they had a very interesting conversation that we're going to pick apart piece by piece tonight. So
I cannot wait.
No, this was interesting. I'm grateful that you're here to do it with me as well. I appreciate you joining me again and spending your whole day here.
I'm glad you mentioned it because I was thinking, well, maybe I'll do it tomorrow and do a surprise Thursday show. And then I was like, you mentioned that. I was like, oh, yeah, let's do it tonight.
Well, I wanted to do it earlier, but we had already discussed what we were going to do with certain things, and I didn't want to just throw it out there. And I was thinking, okay, I looked at the time we had been in, like, do we have time to do this? And I didn't think so. And I still wanted to figure out a way to do it today. So here we are.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Get comfortable. I'm going to wait just a minute or two to make sure we have everybody in here so we don't have to backtrack. Welcome to all the moderators once again. Thank you for joining us from both sides. You guys are so very much appreciated. Again, we wouldn't do it without you, and that's a fact.
Absolutely.
And guys, again, I'm gonna keep posting these links for Miss Logan to help her with these FOIAs that she's doing. If you guys need to reach out to her, that is her email as well that I posted in the chat. That way you can, or I'm sorry, not her email, her Venmo. Good God. The Venmo, PayPal, and the Cash App is what I'm posting. I can't read without my glasses sometimes, so.
That's okay. Just say green, purple, blue.
There you go.
Everybody knows.
Absolutely. So if you guys want to help her with those records requests, I'm sure it's so very much appreciated. And this is how you do it. By these links right here. All right. There's 2 and 1 more coming. And it is, again, so very much appreciated. I know I repeat myself a lot, but I just want to make sure it's understood. Because this stuff is not cheap, and she's been putting it in. Actually, she's done it more than once. She's paid out of pocket for these things 100% just so she could get them. So
I think I've probably done it every time.
You've done it quite a bit. Yeah. I was going to say, we've done a few of these where we've gotten help from the community, but you've done it a lot. So
honestly, it's probably been about every time, if not 1 or 2 that I didn't need to, but yeah. I also feel though that I want the information too. So it's only fair for me to pitch in as well.
Yes.
It only makes sense.
And again, you so gracefully, when you receive the information, you share with the entire community. That's amazing. I love that we all can do that with each other when we have information. We don't withhold information from each other. We work together. That's the way this should be. And it's the only way, in my opinion, it's ever going to work, guys, to where we're going to get real answers. So
yeah. I feel like we can see a difference in some people that are in it for clicks and views, and the people who are truly in it because we want the knowledge, we want the information, we want the truth, we want to keep digging. I'm not putting watermarks on my stuff. If you want it, take it. It's there to be helpful to try and figure this out.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
as I'm so dramatic about it.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. All right. Let me get this up and ready to go. And hold on here. I got to pull the interview back out. How's Bronxy doing, Miss Logan? Everything good?
Yeah, we went out a little bit ago and now he's back sleeping.
Oh, okay.
On the floor.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Has he been doing good? Like still healing up and everything?
He's the same. He'll get like a little spurt of energy, but other than that, he just sleeps. His neck is still a mess. He's probably lost 50% of his body mass. His tissue is depleting.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
And nobody still has an answer as to why.
Nope.
That is so crazy to me.
No
I don't
answers.
understand it. Poor guy.
It's sad to watch it for me. It's very difficult. And as you can see, I've lost weight and I'm not sleeping. You know, it's been really hard on me. But he's always in good spirits though. So it's hard for me to be like, panic.
Yes.
When he's still so happy but he deserves to feel better.
He does. Absolutely. And be back to norm. Mm-hmm. And of course you're going to be upset and sick and sad. This is your child. We get it. 100%. And we love Bronxy as well. We do. 100%.
He's a good boy.
Yes, he is. He's awesome. I was waiting to see him earlier pop up on the back. I love when he does that, when he pops up on the back of the couch.
I mean, you guys probably can't tell looking at him on the couch, but if I threw up a picture on the screen next to him while he was on that couch from just 10 months ago, you guys would be like, oh, that's a different dog. He looks
Oh,
way different.
he looks thinner. Last time I saw him on the back of the couch compared to when I first saw him, he definitely does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure
absolutely.
some of that might be him getting fixed about 6 months ago as well.
I wonder.
Because all
So,
that testosterone running through his body for no reason, that kept that muscle on him. He
yeah,
was,
but do you think that that may have had anything to do with this, Logan? Him having that surgery could have changed something?
yeah, I do.
That's
I think it's
wild.
part of the whole picture. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you, 100%. Well, anyway, we love Bronx. He knows it, and
Yes,
so does
he
so
does.
does Logan. He's a good boy.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Who
It's
did
like
this
a man.
interview?
This was done by Donna Rotuno,
Oh, that's
um, with Crime and Justice. I've done other things with her in the past. She does a great job. She's also an attorney. Um, and this is the 1 minute. I'll show you. I'm going to post it, of course, as soon as I can. Hold on here. Yeah, it's going to let me somehow. Is this it? There it is. I'm going to post a link in the chat for you guys to be able to hop over there as well. Show a little bit of respect and love to that channel for what they've done. And give me one moment here to set up what I do when I do this. 1 second.
I'm going to end the poll on my end, and then I'm going to record the results. The results.
Thanks. Sounds good.
The results. So the question is, do you believe Dr. Turvey's information? Yes is 75%. No is only 8%. And guacamole is 17%.
Let me see how many votes I got. Oh, okay. Well, shit. That was fast. I will end mine as well. And I have, before we do the show, of course, then we'll do one afterwards. Do you believe Dr. Turby's statements? Yes, 78%. No, 4%. And Ramalama Ding Dong, 18%. So most everybody believes in Dr. Turby. I think that's a good point.
Wait, what was your no?
My no was at 4%.
Oh,
78
okay.
for yes, and then 18% said Ramalama Ding Dong.
Oh, that's yeah, close to mine. Super close.
Yeah, right. And we'll do another one after the fact. Once you watch this interview, guys, honest and truly, I think it's possible it's going to change your mind. It could, as it did with mine. For a lot of us that were questioning it. You know what I mean? So, and hold on here. What am I doing?
Interesting. Mountain Man says, can you give some more information on the bloody sock? Also, Turby says her bracelet in the spare bedroom was bloody.
Oh yeah, yes, it
I
was.
don't know anything about a bloody sock.
The sock, I can't remember where we got that info from, and I know I know why you're asking so that we can get more info. I know a couple of the mods in here knew about the sock that was seen in one of the. I'll have to try to go dig these photographs back out. It was seen in one of the crime scene photographs that we saw when they were scanning and taking pictures of the living room area. You can see the sock, and you. I'm not the one that claimed the blood was on it. That I didn't see, but I remember looking at the photographs, and somebody in our chat said, "Yes, we did see this." So I'm gonna try within the next few days to find this photograph because I got to go through how 3,000 some odd photographs. So unless somebody has it, if you do, throw it at me and I will show it. That'll be easier. But that's all we know about it, Mountain Man. Um, that's all I can tell you until I can get to. But I will find the um. Yeah, we're gonna play the interview, Phoebes, and then we're gonna react to it and discuss it as we do. 100%.
Yeah.
And absolutely, Mountain Man. I understand you're questioning that is for sure. 'Cause I kind of want to know a little bit more about it myself.
But yes, we did know about I think we first found out about the bracelet in the spare bedroom from Turvey's first interview. That's how we all learned about that. We knew there was a bracelet the whole time. We just didn't know that it had freaking blood on it.
Right. Yeah. That is correct, ma'am. All right. Let me get this interview pulled back up. 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
Crime and Justice. I've never actually heard of them.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I ran some stuff on them over the past few years. Different interviews, different points that they've put out. So, absolutely. Whose birthday is it today?
Yeah, I just saw that.
Thank you, Miss Bianca. Beautiful Miss Bianca does such an amazing job.
Yes.
Um,
Amazing.
whose birthday is it? Your nephew? Well, happy birthday to your nephew. Oh, Sleuthie's in here. Miss Sleuthie, our mod that's on vacation in St. Thomas. So jealous.
Lucky.
Yes. Beautiful where she's at. I hope she's having an amazing time. She absolutely deserves it. There we go back. I'm trying to right now. Today is his birthday. 3 p.m. Oh, something's not right. Whatever it is, I'm so sorry, Miss Becca. Hold on. My chat moves pretty quick. My 36-year-old. Oh my God. I am so sorry, Becca. God bless, hon. You are definitely in our thoughts and prayers. That's horrifying. I'm so sorry,
I'm
hon.
so sorry. That's devastating.
And today's his birthday. I'm so very
Oh
sorry.
my gosh.
God bless, hon. I am
That's
so very sorry,
heartbreaking.
Becca.
Yeah,
Truly and
that's
honestly.
really heartbreaking. Ugh.
Welcome, self help. Good to see you. Yeah, that's horrifying. That is absolutely horrible. I'm so sorry, hon. We will
I
keep you
just
and your family in our thoughts and prayers for sure.
I just hope the peace and healing finds you sooner than you
Yes,
expected it to.
absolutely.
Make sure you have people around you that are supportive, that
Please,
listen.
yes. And don't be stay with people, hon. Don't let yourself be alone over something at a time like that. That's just not good.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm grateful you're here with us. That way you are with us and it'll take your mind off it a little bit. All right, guys, let's get this moving here. Okay. Again, this is Crime and Justice with Donna Rotuno. Doing this interview with forensic criminologist Dr. Brent Turvey, who we all know. For those of you that may not know, he was one of the experts that was brought in on the Idaho 4 Brian Koberger case um, to work for the defense. Just so you guys know, just in case you didn't. I know most everybody does, but I like to explain things anyway. So, absolutely, thank you guys all so much. Love and prayer sent, Miss Becca. Absolutely. So very sorry, hon. Hopefully, this will take your mind off that for a little bit at least. All right. And are you ready, Miss Logan?
Yes, I am.
Let's do this.
Did they try and like match each other or something?
It almost looks like it with
Wait, didn't he wear that in the last interview we saw him in?
yes, the same exact outfit.
Not that clothes
No, but it
matter.
is the same thing. People make comments about his vest all the time. It's kind of wild.
Oh, he must always wear that outfit.
Maybe he feels good and comfortable in it, you know?
Maybe.
I think Sarge was talking about, I'm not even going to get into what Sarge was talking about. It is what it is. He likes his vest. It is what it is. All right, here we go.
All righty.
Somebody who works in the justice system and observes. Well, there's a number of ways that I reacted to it, but my first initial reaction as a person, as somebody who works in the justice system and observes it, was relief. I was relieved, mainly because of the way of what he said in his file.
Hold on, this started in a little later than I thought. Let me start that again.
Promises and blatant disinformation. The change of heart came after experts have publicly questioned the evidence post-plea deal. Back with me today is Dr. Brent Turvey, a crime scene analyst expert who was hired by the Kohberger defense team. I think in light of the fact that Bryan Kohberger has filed paperwork under a post-conviction theory to withdraw his plea, I think this conversation is going to be enlightening, and I can't wait to get into it. Talk to me about how you felt when you heard that Mr. Kohberger had filed this petition to withdraw his plea, and what was your reaction when you first heard that news?
Well, there's a number of ways that I reacted to it, but my first initial reaction as a person, as somebody who works in the justice system and observes it, was relief. I was relieved, mainly because of the way of what he said in his filing. Some important facts and details came out that really haven't been covered at all. I mean, I want to take a moment to talk to you like a person, like you're a human being. I'm a human, you're a human. We both have human emotions and have human responses to these things. And it's been, the word I would use is disgusting. It's been disgusting the way that most of the topics around this case have been talked about and shared and even ruminated and theorized over. And I'm grateful to be in this space with you because I know you're not like that. You're more of a facts and law, and that's how I prefer to meet this case, because it's more productive that way. So really great relief.
For sure.
Primarily because so many things happen in that plea that people have only speculated about and continue to speculate about. And the first one is that no one seems to be saying out loud, which is that Ann Taylor and her legal team were fired. They were just fired across the board. There's no getting away from that, what happened there.
When you say fired, you mean that when he filed his petition, he did it on his own. So therefore, he obviously didn't ask them to do it. And then he asked for other counsel to be appointed to him. So is that what you're referring to when you say fired?
I don't know how we can see it any other way. That's the other problem we have with this.
No, I agree. That's just what I'm. No, that's what I'm asking. I agree with that. I just want to be clear so people understand. Yeah,
exactly. For those of us who work these kinds of cases, I mean, I do investigative cases for law enforcement. I do cases for prosecutors, and then I also do cases for defense attorneys and civil attorneys. And then I also do post-conviction cases, quite a few of them, to review things done after the conviction has already occurred. And I think it's just interesting how people are tripping over themselves to try to describe this in another way, to try to give some leeway to what's happening or create some sort of intrigue or mystery about it. Kohberger laid it out pretty clearly what the issues were. And that's so my sense is relief that he is actually able to speak for himself, as opposed to being suppressed by Ann Taylor. Ann Taylor no longer holds the privilege. The privilege is his, and he gets to decide what he wants to say. And that has not been true since the plea. And that's the other thing. If you want, we can go right into what the plea is and what he claims if you want. But so my first reaction was relief. And now it seems like the real work might actually get done. Those are my sentiments.
Well, and I definitely want to get into the plea, but before we do that, let me ask you this. So, for the regular person who has no exposure to the criminal justice system, who hasn't sat in courtrooms the way you have or I have, we watch Bryan Kohberger sit in a court, right? And we watch the judge ask Bryan Kohberger a series of questions that he responded to. And we also saw that Bryan Kohberger filled out a piece of paper that basically, said, I am pleading guilty of my own free will. And, I'm satisfied with my counsel. So talk to me a little bit about how now, he's going to say, I want to.
Okay. We'll start here real quick. For those of you guys see people saying Ann Taylor was fired, That's the only thing that makes any sense because he's requesting new defense counsel, or he did, and it was approved for this so far. So if he already has a defense counsel, he's not going to ask for another one, as he posted the post conviction relief. So I have to agree that she was terminated as his defense counsel.
Do we know how that works, though? Does he have to file something first before the PCR to say, hey, you sucked, bye-bye?
That's a
And
good
then
question.
does the PCR and is hired, or somebody's hired for him after that? I don't know how that works.
That is a great question, Logan, and I wondered that myself because I always thought that they have to file a motion in the court to recuse themselves as his attorneys, which we never saw, unless they're maybe because it's a new. Well, then again, this attorney is only for the post conviction relief. We were told that, so I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, did he fire the defense team and hire this guy just for PCR? Oh, I don't know. We don't know that yet, but it seems as though they are no longer his defense. That's just my opinion. And so I do agree with Turvey on that aspect until we see something different, I guess. That's the only way I can approach that. I don't really know a good answer to that. We don't know anything, like Tomboy just said, we don't know because we have seen no documents or any motions filed onto whether or not any of the defense team has filed yet. So I really can't answer that. So I'm curious. I'm very curious.
Huh. It doesn't really say either. I'm
No,
trying
it
to read
doesn't.
stuff online, and it's not very specific as far as how that works.
Right. So we may have to look into that after the fact. Miss Lori says Ron Funk said since BK said the word coerced was used, and Taylor and team are definitely out. That's kind of my thought too. That's
Yep.
what I thought as well. Thank you, Lori. But that's exactly what I thought as well. We just haven't seen any like real deal documents proving anything. So that's I think what we're all waiting to see. And I'm sure at
Yep.
some point we will.
And he said that they threatened him too,
Yes.
which I think about that as a lawyer, or if you were in that field and you spent all that time becoming a lawyer and a client says you threatened them, or someone threatened their client, that's a much bigger deal than what people are making out of it.
It is.
It's a big deal. I mean, don't you think that their license could be taken?
I think it should be taken, to be honest with you. I think you should be disbarred if you're going to do that, because that's a serious thing.
Yeah, you're threatening clients, not to mention this was a death penalty case. And you're coercing, threatening,
Right.
allegedly, but still.
Absolutely. On we go.
Withdraw all of this, and let's kind of go through that in terms of the plea. And, because to me, Brian Koberger does not seem like a dumb guy, right? Like, we're seeing his filings, we're seeing what he's written. And I'm kind of wondering how we reconcile this idea that he is an intelligent person. He was college educated. He was a teacher. He was a teacher's assistant. He was taking classes. And now, now we're hearing that he has written things to the court that are intelligent. So talk to me about how we reconcile this idea that he got up before a court, said all these things, and now he's saying, wait, this wasn't right. Like, why did he wait until now to bring those things up rather than say, I'm not going to plead guilty in the first place?
I'll just say is this: anybody who's questioning this process has obviously never been a criminal defendant charged with murder, and certainly not charged with capital murder. So second guessing this is kind of, it's one of those things that I find really unpalatable, because I've done this. I've worked probably 25, 30 death penalty cases in my career and testified in many of them. And what attorneys tell clients to do is shut up, don't make a face, don't respond, don't react, and above all, don't talk. Look straight ahead or take notes. That's the instruction given to every client, every defense client.
Can you stop it for a second?
I can. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. What he just said there, I have been screaming since the day we saw Brian Koberger in court, whether it's for his plea, for sentencing, whatever it's for. those exact words. I've been screaming that there are rules that you need to follow in the courtroom. You
Yes.
aren't allowed to move or breathe or do shit or say shit. People say, oh, I'd be screaming it from. No, you wouldn't, because you wouldn't have a plea deal. They'd probably take you back, beat the shit out of you, and never speak to you again. And then you die in prison. Like,
Right.
no.
Yes. Yes. I fully agree with you. And real quick, Phoebe says, I hope Dr. Turvey talks to Brian and helps him. I think Dr. Turvey has already spoken to Brian. He will explain some of this here coming up. From my understanding, he does explain. Well, I'll let him say it. I'll let him say it. But yes, I think he has spoken. I said this a while back that I think Turvey reached out to Brian in some aspect, and I think we will definitely find it interesting what we hear soon. Real quick, um, just to give you a little bit of info that was sent to me by one of my amazing moderators. Yes, you can generally retain your same lawyers after withdrawing a guilty plea, provided there is no explicit conflict of interest or court refusal. However, whether they can stay on depends on the reason for the withdrawal and the rules of the court. Like Logan said, you got to follow rules, folks. Retaining your lawyer, no automatic ban. Filing a motion to withdraw a plea does not automatically force your lawyer off the case, especially if you are not blaming them for bad advice. Well, we know the difference. Private versus appointed. If you hired a private attorney, you control who represents you unless the attorney chooses to quit or the judge finds an ethical conflict. If you have a public defender, the court decides whether they stay on the reopened case. So, ethical conflicts, if your reason for withdrawing the plea involves blaming your attorney's advice, your lawyer faces immediate conflict of interest and usually must withdraw, even if you do not formally call it ineffective assistance of counsel. And your current lawyer may refuse to stay on the case if the relationship has broken down or trust is lost. So thank you, Bubbles, for that. That's a good news and important news to know. So there you go, you guys. There you go. Good point.
Real quick,
Yes,
Mountain
ma'am.
Man says, why would we want Ann Taylor? Why would we want Ann back if she
I
scared
agree.
him into pleading guilty? And that's a good point. We
Yes.
shouldn't.
I agree with you. If that's all true, there was coercion involved, threats involved, and scared him into, I don't want her there. She shouldn't be there. So I fully agree with that, bro.
You know, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So when there is, let's say, a case like Brian's, he does what he's supposed to do. He, puts in a petition for the PCR. There is a pool of attorneys
Right.
that, that case goes into that pool, and then an attorney is picked to represent that case if needed as a public defender. I wonder how that works as far as, is there a time frame? Like, okay, in the month of August, all cases for public defender, needed in this courtroom are going to go to James Smith, attorney James Smith. And then the next month, like, is there a schedule like that? If so, I would assume the lawyers know that. And do they time it out to get a specific attorney or judge or anything?
That's a good point and a good question, Logan. I was made to understand when this case happened that they kind of roll through like a everybody takes a turn type situation, and there's everybody's up for at that point in time it was Ann's turn, so on and so forth. That's how I was made to understand. I don't know. And I don't know if every state is different either, if every state has different rules for how they do that. But that is a good point. And I'm sure somebody in the chat will definitely look that up. One of our mods probably will. And if not, I will. But great question, Logan. Great question.
I'm sure it's super random, but I'm just curious I feel like you can almost negotiate like every single thing in the world. So why would there not be a way to work this to your benefit?
No, absolutely. You are correct. 100%. I fully agree. And I'm curious for sure. Very curious. we shall be looking into these things. I'm notating these little things here and there too. That way, things that I want to know answers to. Thank you, Offset. All right, moving on, and yeah, that is something else that needs to be to living well with Amber. Thank you for being here. This new attorney will need to be death penalty certified. That's why Ann Taylor was brought on. So we will see. If he gets a new trial and they bring the death penalty back, yes, he will definitely. They will have to be death penalty certified. That's a fact. We go.
All right. Whether or not they take that advice is something else. So from the perspective of Ann Taylor, from her legal team, he's a good client, doing what he's told, trying to maintain that stoicism, which cannot be judged. Because as you can see from this case, as I said at the outset of this interview, the response of the public has really been our worst selves. We've been our worst selves in responding to this, smacking our chops over the deaths of these young girls, making light, making jokes, making fake AI videos to purport a side or the other. It's been very grotesque. It's been a menagerie of the grotesque, in my opinion. He has been a good client. He has been doing what he's told. He has not been talking, as he's been told. He's been letting Ann Taylor and her legal team talk for him. And as you and I both know, up until the weekend before the plea, it was all, I'm innocent. I want to take this to trial. I want to take this to court. Now, the question is, why would he then get up there? Well, first of all, he didn't allocute. That's the first thing. The second thing, and it's clear from his filing, is he was told two things. One, you need to confess or to get a plea to take the death penalty off the table. That's what he was told by his attorneys. Bad advice across the board, but that was the advice he was given. Then the second thing that he was told, according to his filing, was that it's okay to lie about whether or not you did it, because that will set legal things in motion, and then we will start to do appeals and we'll start to do other things around that. But this will give us time. This is a time-saving device. That's what's...
If you sit on the toilet, bear down, and barely anything comes out. You don't have constipation, you have poop paralysis. And the difference between the two is everything. It's why fiber, laxatives,
heavily imply.
What in the actual hell? Are you serious?
Poop paralysis, y'all.
Sorry, guys.
Some people in chat just got diagnosed. Okay.
Wow.
They're like,
can't control their commercials that they have over there, obviously. So my apologies. I'll skip them the best I can. That was wild.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yes. Well, now you guys know about poop paralysis. That's wild.
I love it.
Yes.
That was a shitty commercial, y'all.
Logan, that was too funny. My Lord.
Oh my goodness.
Moving on.
Lied in his filing. So why would he do it? One, because he was told to. And then two, he was told it would not be of legal significance. Now, whether or not you and I would have believed that, if I had been in the room in that conversation, I would have said, what the f are you talking about? Because you don't tell people to suborn perjury, knock that shit off right now. That's what I would have done. But I wasn't in the room. I have no, and I happen to know now who was in the room, and I know exactly what was said. And it comports with the meeting that Ann Taylor had with us, which caused me to get up and walk out, which is that she basically said, I couldn't get him to take the plea initially. I couldn't get him to do it. So what did I do? I went and I enlisted his family. I told him he had to do it. I gave him a horror show of what death row was going to be like. I told him what it was going to be like if he was, just in there as a regular inmate, not on death row. And it took more than a day and a half, maybe 2 days, to get the family to convince him to take the plea. So why did he do it? I mean, in my head, I've seen this kind of scenario play out before, but only with extremely unethical attorneys who don't want to go to trial for whatever.
I don't know if you guys are catching this, but this man just informed us that Ann said she couldn't get him to take the plea. She was pushing for him to take the plea, and he wouldn't do it based on the fact that he believed he's innocent, I'm guessing. So she enlisted his family to talk him into it.
That's not okay. That cannot be okay. What if he was talking to a family who had low IQ, but they didn't know they had low IQ? They'd never been tested. People
Right.
with low IQ don't know they have low IQ. So what if they have super low IQ? What if they just don't understand the legal system and his attorney's out there convincing his family and then telling his family to convince him? That is not how this should be working.
That is insane, Logan. That is beyond insane. She was trying to force him to take a plea. He didn't want to do it because he believes in his innocence. So she goes and gets his family and says, you need to tell him what to do with this. You need to talk him into this, to the point that Turvey said he got up and walked out. That's insane, you guys. That is not. Oh, my God. And there's more. There's more to come. This is nuts.
Could you only imagine, too, like his family saying stuff to him like, I'll never see you again. You know, you could die in 3 months.
Yes.
Like, that would surely change somebody's mind.
And like Brian said in the PCR, he said there were some things that went on in the plea talks that were just wild, that need to be brought to the surface. They need to be discussed. They need to be seen. They used his family against him, you guys. They used his family to coerce him into taking the plea deal. They told the horror story about death row and what it would be like. And I'm sure his mother probably just went into a horror show in her mind and said, no, you can't do that. Please take the plea deal. Please take the plea deal. And that's why he did it. That's sickening to me.
Yep.
That is sickening to me. Why is his attorney trying to force him to take the plea deal, folks? Who? What? Okay, here. This is what this sounds like to me. I can't prove this. There's no proof of this. There's no way to verify any of this. But when you listen to this, to me, Logan, and everybody out here, this sounds like somebody said to Ann, if you can get him to take a plea deal, you can have this. Or this will happen for you. Or this is what's going to happen, Ann. Like, do it. You can do this. Does it or does it not sound that way to you?
I think it does. It's very coercive. It's very tit for tat, quid pro quo, however you want to put it. That's exactly what it sounds like. Oh, I can't get him to listen to me. I can't get him to listen to this person who I told them what to say. Now I'm going to go for his family and see if that works. Any which way around. Either way, it's unethical. You need to go straight to the sources. It's his trial, his life. He's being blamed. Him, not you. It's not your decision. Give them the correct information from both sides of it, what to expect, what not to expect on either end, and let him decide how he wants to advocate and fight for himself.
Yes. And guys, we were told she's not allowed to do that. Ann Taylor is not allowed to push him one way or another as to taking a plea deal. All she's allowed to do is when it's offered to them, she's allowed to counsel him in which way he could go, what could happen, not push him into it and force him to take it.
Right.
This is getting worse and worse by the second, you guys. I mean, wow. I am highly disappointed in this attorney. I looked up to her in so many ways, and I can't believe this.
Yeah.
On we go.
I'm wondering why you wouldn't want to go to trial. Like, this was not a financial situation, right? The Kobergers were not paying for his legal defense. The taxpayers of the state of Idaho were paying, so their bills were being paid. They work for a public defender's office, which obviously they are paid. So, and this is not a case where, I don't know, I think the majority of the public were expecting anybody to win. So I guess my question is, what do you really have to lose? And yeah, okay, the death penalty is one area of conversation, right? We can talk about the death penalty, but you know, I know, and hopefully Brian Koberger understood that just because the state asks for the death penalty doesn't mean if you lose at trial, they're going to impose it on you, right? That is something that a jury decides after the fact. And, you know, you can present mitigating evidence and things of that nature. And your mother can get up and talk about how awful it would be to know that her son is being put to death. And so there are ways to fight against the death penalty. So that was not a foregone conclusion if he were to go to trial and lose. So I guess I'm wondering, like, what do you think? You know, I've always said as a lawyer, I will try anything, right? I am not in the business of trying to convince clients to take pleas. I, of course, have conversations with clients when offers are made to them, because that is our ethical obligation to do so. We must convey any offers made to clients. But in 26 years of doing this, I have never twisted anybody's arm. And I say to them, you live with the consequence of your decision. You want me to go in there and fight for you? I'll fight for you. So what do you think, what do you think they had to lose here by going to trial? I mean, they fought pretty hard throughout the pendency of the case. They obviously hired experts to try to put them in a position that was better at trial. So I'm just wondering, like, what do you think it was ultimately that she just didn't want to fight? Because frankly, the fight that was going on, as long as it was a fight. The trial aspect of it isn't really that difficult once you're prepared. So I'm just wondering what you think happened here.
I have some speculations, but first let me just say, Donna, I wish you had been there. I wish you had been in the room. I wish you had given that advice. That was not, he was not getting that advice. That's the first thing. So one, he had no advocates for him in that room. He had only people that wanted him to plea out because they didn't want to go to trial. Two, he didn't have all the information about all the exculpatory evidence that we had found. He didn't know that. He didn't know what the defense team had uncovered. And it's not me by myself. None of this stuff, according to his filing and according to other things that I'm aware of, he wasn't provided any of the defense reports. He didn't even know I existed until I went on a podcast. So that's its own little separate problem.
And we know that because he told somebody that, or how do we know that? Because if that's the case, that's
something that I have not disclosed yet, which I think is important to know. And that is that after I did Queens of Custody and your podcast, the family reached out to me and like, who the hell are you? And what are you doing on this case? And why haven't we heard of all this stuff before? And then I immediately like, okay, well, let's talk. And then I handed them off to people who had legal minds.
Brian's family reached out to Dr. Turvey. How about that? This is why I believe that once they reached out to him, that he then spoke with Brian. Absolutely, I believe that at this point. This is insane, you guys. I'm glad.
It's super highly possible that happened.
Oh, I fully agree. I believe it does. Based on what we know, what Jules has told us, that Melissa has said to her, so on and so forth, I do believe in this. I fully do, because it's known that it can be proved wrong if it's not true, and he's got a lot to lose by lying like this. There's a lot that could happen, and this also could explain, Logan, why Ann Taylor came back at him so hard when he came out and made his first statement.
I think that's exactly why explains Ann Taylor's freaking flipping out, because she surely didn't do it to Cy Ray, who's saying that Brian Koberger is in the living room.
Yep.
That Ann Taylor has a really weird relationship with Brian Koberger. Maybe she just freaking really believes that he didn't do it.
Yeah, well, Cy, she came back at Turvey like he did something to her personally. Okay. Yeah. And now I can understand why, because he's calling her out. He's throwing her under the bus. He's telling the whole world, this woman did not do her job. In fact, she did the opposite of it, and she was pushing him to hurt himself, which is what he did. This is crazy. Yep. This is crazy. It is. And I'm glad that Brian's family reached out to him so that some truth could be exposed. This man basically exposed Ann Taylor as an attorney. And damn. Because what if he'd have never spoke? Think about this for a minute. What if Turvey would have never spoke, Logan? None of this would ever be known to anybody. Brian wouldn't even know, I don't think.
Nope, because it wouldn't have then pissed off Ann Taylor, which then wouldn't have pissed off Cy Ray, which then wouldn't have pissed off Whitcomb, which then wouldn't, not that Whitcomb was pissed off, but you know what I
I know.
mean? Then, he says something about Cy Ray. Now Cy Ray wants to come out and talk and defend himself and speak on things. And then Whitcomb wants to come out and talk and speak on things because of what both of them said. And it's kind of a domino effect, but we're getting little bits of information from each one.
Yeah, if Chris would have never wrote the book, none of this would have been happening, and Brian would be sitting in prison probably beyond. We'd have rolled through September because it looks like Ann was just sitting there quietly waiting till September hits and locking him out of everything, and boom. You know what I mean?
Do you think that Brian did the PCR, petitioned for the PCR because of Broken Plea, because he read the book?
I believe that that's what started this off. I think it's because his family spoke to Dr. Turvey, and Dr. Turvey informed them of some things, and they looked into more things. Like he said, he handed them off to some other people that informed them of things, then boom. Like you said, domino effect. Chris Whitcomb was the first domino. They pushed it, and like I said a long time ago, Chris Whitcomb opened the door for this. Yep. And here we go. This never would have happened if he would not have wrote that book, in my opinion. This is wild, you guys. This is wild. Anyway, on we go.
Which I do not. So I was like, sure. I feel your pain. I understand what you're saying. The next step has to be legal steps that I can't be involved in. So you need to go do that. There are things that have to happen that I can't be a part of. And that's what happened. So I got told by the family directly that they had not received that stuff.
I mean, that's
the next thing.
That's troubling. That's troubling.
Very troubling. It gets worse. It's way worse than you can possibly imagine. Way worse than I even worried about. I always game out the worst case scenarios, and then I sort of prepare for them, hope for the best, plan for the worst kind of deal. And it's way worse. The family has not spoken yet because they're frightened out of their minds about what's going to happen the next time they speak. The vultures will descend. The legal consequences. They've been told to be quiet for this whole time, and they've also done the same thing. Notice Brian Kohberger did not allocute because he couldn't, because he didn't know what happened. His family has not spoken out other than the sister giving one interview, and even that after that, she's now a little gun shy. But they're
word for word what I said. If you guys think back when we were talking about Brian's allocution, I said he can't. Brian can't allocute, and they gave some dumbass excuse as to why he wasn't. I said it was because he couldn't, because he wasn't there. How's he going to tell you anything if he's not there? You can't. You're muted, Logan, I think, if you were speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the exact reason why they didn't. Also, they know the answers. They know where this stuff is. They know who did it. They know the truth. So why waste your own time? Why ask questions when people aren't watching you? Why ask questions that you know the answer to already?
Agreed. You don't ask questions that you know the answers to. And they knew that this guy right here could not give those answers. They knew that if they were to force him to allocute, he wouldn't have been able to say a word. And Brian being the person he is, this is another part of this, what we talked about today, Logan. When we learned who Brian was, Brian Kohberger doesn't have the ability to step forth and say, and make something up. He can't make up a story like this because it's not honest, I don't think. Okay? I don't think he could have said, oh, well, okay, I'm going to lie and tell you I did this, and then I'll make up this story as to what happened. He couldn't do that. They knew that based on his psychological evaluation. So at this point, they were screwed.
Yeah.
So there again, this is nuts.
Nuts.
This is crazy. I mean, completely crazy. Can someone tell Dago his channel settings are fucked up? What's going on with him, Witchy? What's wrong? Do I sound crazy or something? Does everything sound okay? What's the matter? His settings is showing my end as made for kids. Can't subscribe. What? Okay, I'll go in and try to fix it. I'm going to go on forward this, but I'll try to fix it. Thank you. I don't understand that because I never do that.
Trying to talk, but they really don't have the facility to do that. They don't trust anybody, and they shouldn't. But Koberger himself in his filing makes this very real and says, I didn't know any of this stuff. I wasn't being told anything. I wasn't being given good advice. And I was told the opposite of some of the things that are occurring right now. And he is, as any good client does, has held his water this entire time because the person who speaks for him is Ann Taylor. And in lockup, he had no ability. Well, in lockup, he was even more limited by what he could say and who he could say it to. Now, I'll give you one other piece of information that I learned from the Koberger family. She hasn't spoken to him since the plea. So she's in court representing him without even talking to him.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
So
that?
let me.
They haven't spoken since he took the plea. Are you kidding me?
Was he talking about him and Ann Taylor?
Yes. They haven't spoken since the plea happened.
That's interesting because didn't Cy Ray say the exact opposite, that she was literally going in there every single day because they have such a weird relationship, an unhealthy relationship is what he said?
Yep. And here, I'll play this back one more time. Listen to this again.
He is, as any good client does, has held his water this entire time because the person who speaks for him is Ann Taylor. And in lockup, he had no ability. Well, in lockup, he was even more limited by what he could say and who he could say it to. Now, I'll give you one other piece of information that I learned from the Koberger family. She hasn't spoken to him since the plea. So she's in court representing him without even talking to him.
And that came from Brian's family themselves, who I'm sure they got the information from Brian. I'm sure they've said, hey, have you and your attorney spoke on anything? No. Over a year, you guys. Over a year, they haven't spoken. She's going to court for different things representing him without talking to him? Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't think that's even legal, is it?
I mean, she can say whatever. I mean, she can tell them that, yeah, Brian knows this, Brian knows that. She can do this, do that. But if it's not happening, it's not happening. That is wild. If that is absolutely true, that is absolutely insane. They completely and totally fucking abandoned him in prison and just went on with life, hoping that it would just be quiet and move on the way it was. This is getting darker and darker and darker by the second, Logan.
That is the most absurd thing I have ever heard. I get that. Here's the thing. You say, okay, but she can go into court and say, yeah, I spoke to my client about this. I saw him Tuesday for 15 minutes. He's fine. That's coming from the same person that Brian says coerced him and threatened him and told him it was okay to lie.
Yeah.
To make a plea deal.
Yes. Yes.
So I wouldn't put it past her if that's true.
No, not at this point. Not at this point. And I'm going to have to guess Moonlight's right, that she lied about when she was making the statements that Brian was not participating and that he was not working with her. You got to wonder what that actually means. Welcome, Truth and Neurons. Good to see you in the house today. Thank you for joining us. Yes. I'm just saying, you guys, this is out of like the realm insane to me. I don't even know what to say. This is crazy.
313 Kristen says, has anybody FOIA'd the visitors logs? And yes, I have. Denied is what I was, for privacy, of course.
More than one person has done it and been denied for the same reason as Logan, you guys. So, and I think that's probably on purpose. Just saying. Yeah. Honestly, let me ask you guys a question. What would Brian Koberger have to lose by lying? What would he have to gain by lying? Nothing. It doesn't make any sense. This is out of the realm for me. I'm sorry.
Nope. And just for the record, this case technically was done and over with as far as the initial plea deal, trial, all that stuff that was going to happen. This case is technically closed. So we should be able to get all interviews. We should be able to get his visitor log. We should be able to get phone calls from him in prison. We should, all of that stuff. That should not be an issue at all. But it is. And this is the only case I've seen this in where we can't get stuff for privacy on a closed ass case. It's
This could
absurd.
explain that, Logan. This could explain why things are still being hidden. Also, let's think back on some other things. Just to say, we know that the defense and the prosecution both agreed to have the house tore down. We know that there were options that were handed to the defense, not handed to, but they were put out there that she could have used. She could have taken some help, and she didn't do that in many ways. And I'm really, this is blowing me away. I mean, it would make some of these things make more sense. And it truly would make the big thing that none of us could grasp a hold of. Why did he take a plea deal when they have no evidence against him?
Yep.
That right there in itself.
Absolutely.
This is insane. This gets better by the second.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
So
that
let me.
scenario?
No.
So the
no.
questions you're asking are really for Ann Koper. Why didn't you share this exculpatory material? And why aren't you talking to your client?
Did he just call her Ann
Yeah, I mean, that just
Koberger?
makes no sense to me. And when I look at this,
What'd you say?
Did he just call her Ann Koberger?
He may have.
I swear that's what I heard.
He may have. He may have slipped up and said it.
It's so funny.
It is wild.
and I want to be really clear, so people that
it
are
makes sense to
listening or
me.
watching
In my little
understand.
brain, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know simply what that was and how and why. I tried to look into what the cause of death. I just tried to look it up, period, and I can't find anything on it. So I don't know. That is an interesting question, though, and I think I know why you're asking. Very good point.
No, we can speculate as to why.
Sure. Well, and when I look at this, and I want people who are listening or watching to understand, there is a very big difference between the atrocities and the horrific things that happened to these 4 young college students and the court process. And so, everybody out there is talking about how awful this is for the families to have to relive this, and this is coming back. And it is. It's awful. It's awful that it ever happened in the first place. But I think every person of every family member would want to make sure that whoever was put behind bars for this is actually the person who did it. And so, I've always
say
thought
that's generally true, but I won't just speak out on this very issue because it's one of the things that disgusts me the most. I've never seen a family try to sell their daughter's story like this before, ever. Going to crime.
He's talking about the Gonsalves. If you guys didn't catch this is interesting.
Con trying to get different documentary deals. I'm disgusted by that. I wouldn't even think to do that as an expert, and I have access to everything. I'll talk to you and we'll have a professional conversation, but not for money.
Sure.
And certainly I wouldn't, anybody who's out there trying to sell a story for money.
Thank you so much, Strawberry.
What?
Says today they've been scrubbing stuff off the internet since this. Really? Like what, Strawberry? Not that I doubt it, but that's, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm curious to see what, though. Thank you so much for the super chat. Wow.
Do you know how
saying the same thing, too.
Do you know how happy it makes me to hear an expert in this case talk about the G's like that?
Yep.
That is so incredibly validating.
It's real deal proof, and yes, very validating. This is crazy, you guys. It is crazy. Some of the Sid stuff, false stuff that's watch and pay attention then and see how much stuff does get scrubbed, you guys. Watch. And pay attention to mainstream media as well and watch what they do.
That's grotesque.
And I'm not going to judge what people do when they're put in the most horrific situations. I mean, obviously we can have personal opinions on it, but in terms of, just being, and again, you have to remember that these are people that are talking to one side, right? They're talking to the prosecutors. They're looking at what the prosecutors are showing them. They're believing, what they hear. But prosecutors sit down with family members prior to pleas and talking about strength of evidence. And, they do that in terms of, actual facts or physical exhibits or things like that. That might be a little bit different. But I do think that from a practical standpoint, even people who it's very.
Thank you, Labs, for treats and or FOIA for Bronxy and Miss Logan. Awesome stuff.
Labs, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Of course, now you got to get Manny out here to dance it out. And Conspiraling is asking, scrubbed from where? Good point and good question. They led the charge of media corruption, Steve. Good point, Sarge, and welcome, brother.
Difficult to relive this. I would think that even at some point your logical brain would take over and you would say, okay, if this really isn't the guy, then we want to make sure that we find the guy. But now let me ask you this question, because here's the practical side of this. This is a very difficult thing to overcome for Bryan Kohberger, right? Taking back a plea, putting yourself in a position to actually have a trial and to be able to plead not guilty. This is a legal burden that is very high. And so I'm wondering where you think this goes next for him. Do you think legally he has enough to go into the court and say, you know what, my lawyer was ineffective and didn't do a good job. And I'm, the legal standard's high. And I'm just wondering because, the courts give a lot of deference to lawyers saying that was strategic. They made a decision. They decided not to do this. Now, it's a little different when you're talking about a plea versus a trial that went bad.
You're absolutely correct. It's a very high and very difficult legal burden for anyone to overcome. And this is not a regular case. It's a case with exceptional circumstances. The first issue is he didn't allocute. That's the first thing that always sticks out to me. It really bothered me that he didn't allocute, and that caused a lot of problems.
Same.
Because that's supposed to happen. But let's take a step back and ask ourselves what we don't know. Who was the NBC Dateline leak? Wasn't me.
Correct.
It wasn't. The Ada County Sheriff's Department's investigating Ann Taylor's office. That would have been, and the special master who did the investigation knew before the plea who it was, and they put that on file and they sealed it. Bryan Kohberger doesn't know who that leak was. It didn't help him. It hurt him badly. So he should know. If Ann Taylor knows, and she definitely knows, she would have to know because she's part of that sealed material. She would have to have reviewed it. She certainly didn't pass that along to Kohberger. So that's a problem.
And It's stated that they're investigating the defense or the defense side of it. Does anybody else in here wonder, based on information we've seen and heard come out of this person's mouth, if it's possible that Cy could be the leak from the defense side of things? Thank you, Conspiraling. You're amazing.
Thank you, Bricky. I appreciate you. Bricky the escapee.
That is awesome. And just, again, you guys are going to burn Manny out today. Yeah, this is wild. It really is. Absolutely. Thank you again, Conspiraling. Very, very amazing of you.
Where do you think the leak came from?
Well, I'll be honest with you. The way this was done, I definitely, I didn't think it was from the defense side of things. I didn't think that at all. But after Cy came out, some of the things he started saying, I started to wonder, is it him? Was he trying to throw a monkey wrench in some situations? I mean, it kind of looks like it could be him in some aspects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't trust him. Chris Tatt just made a good point. I wouldn't doubt it. He will always back the blue. I fully agree with you, sir. Fully agree that he's part of that blue wall. Brothers in arms, 100%. And then some. No doubt in my mind. So it's very plausible that he is the person, in my opinion. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying that, without a doubt in my mind that it's Cy. But it's something new that I can think that it is a very slight possibility. Hi, Noel. Good to see you, dear. Good stuff. Good stuff. And again, yes, ma'am.
I don't know specifically who did it, but from the time it happened or the time we knew about it, I thought it was strategically done on purpose, and that everybody who knew about it was part of it, including Judge Hippler. I think it was the state or even someone like Cy Ray who thinks Brian Koberger is guilty. I think it was strategic.
Sure. Yeah, most definitely.
To throw the case.
And I think it was meant to look as though the prosecution did it. Okay. And that's what we all believed. Even the judge, when he sent the documents to both sides, the prosecution's document read as though the judge was pointing the finger saying, we know you did this.
Right.
You're going to be investigated for this. You better figure this shit out. And then the document sent to Ann Taylor's side basically said, dot your I's, cross your T's, and protect your ass so that you don't get wrapped up in this mix to make sure nothing's happening here, but wasn't really accusing them of it, which was interesting. So I don't think anybody would have thought that one of the experts could have been doing this from this side of that fence, okay, until now. And based on things that Cy has said in his interviews recently and the way he's worded things, I have no problem thinking now, and no doubt that it's possible, to be honest with you, that it was him. I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be honest with you. So I think some people thought they could get away with something if they did it a certain type of way, and they all kind of got together. And it's now blowing up in their faces, possibly, if this is what it really is. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Here's the thing. If they really wanted to solve this investigation into the leak, they could have solved it in about 3 days or less. Take everybody's devices away from them. Extract them all.
Right.
Talk to them, corner them, whatever. Somebody's going to crack. Somebody's going to tell you who it was.
Yeah. And they closed up the administrative investigation pretty quickly, and then opened a criminal investigation, from my understanding, that is still open and moving. And he referenced the last time he came out, just watch and see who gets arrested for this, ends up in jail or something. So I'm real curious over this. I really am.
I think they changed it to a criminal investigation to make it look like they were doing something.
It could be.
They are.
We'll see. If there's any kind of charges filed against specific people, I think that'll prove it. But if not, I don't expect anybody to be punished for this per se, because we know how that works. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens, though. I'm very curious for sure. I'll tell you one thing, guys. If nothing else, this case is going to lay out case law forever and ever and ever. And change, in my opinion, this is going to completely, totally flip the fucking justice system upside down and change things that we wouldn't even believe. I do believe that now for sure. It's going to be an interesting sight to see how this all plays out in the end. That is for sure.
That's the first little hurdle there that's going to contextualize why he wasn't looped in and why he was coerced into taking this deal and why he was told to lie, why he was told to perjure himself. And again, this is something that people do all the time under the stress and duress of a defense attorney telling him, I'm not taking this to trial. For what is it, like a third, 29, 30% of all of the people who are exonerated by the Innocence Project basically confessed and took a plea deal at the urgence of their defense attorney because they were frightened they were going to lose a trial. That's a third. That's not a joke. That's something we have to think about how our legal system works. The next thing is that if this, I really appreciate that Judge Hippler appeared on paper, at least, to be taking this seriously by accepting the filing and then appointing him a new attorney. I don't know. It concerns me that it's a small town attorney that's got a 1-star rate. It concerns me a bit who the attorney is, but maybe he's better than we know. And maybe he's got death experience that we don't know about. So that's the next part. It's not just about the legal hurdles. It's about.
So somebody states in the chat, I think it was Sky Blue Eyes, says, I find it odd that no one has talked about why Brian Koberger couldn't produce the knife and the sheath that he allegedly purchased. It seems that Thompson would have been broadcasting this information. That's a good point. That's a huge point, Sky Blue. Thank you. And I wonder if there was, do you think that it's possible there's something behind that, Logan? I mean, with everything else we've seen, do you think that this knife has been produced, that it has been? I still wonder, listen, when they went in and they raided Brian's house and they did, they went through everything and this and that, on their evidence list, there is one knife and one knife alone that is not described. And it's the first one on the list. And it says there was 3 knives, I think, found. Sarge pointed this out to me years ago. Okay. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, I know. But the more I think about this, as we get into more of this stuff, I'm starting to really, really wonder. It kind of bothers me. That knife had no description, but everything else on that list was described in detail. The type of knives, the other 2 were described very clearly as to what they were. That one just said knife. That's all it said. Knife. Nothing else but knife.
Well, I think from the FOIA I just paid for, that should probably be on it. So maybe we'll get to see what kind of knife it was.
Good point. I hope. That would be amazing.
I feel like this could go one of 2 ways, and they're both polar opposites. So either Brian Koberger did not order a knife and sheath. He only ordered a sharpener. Right. If that, they could have been making that up as well. It's not hard to type out a spreadsheet, an Excel document, and make it look like it was a receipt when it's not. You can just type anything in there you want. So that doesn't really tell us anything when people show, oh, look, he bought a sharpener on an Excel document. I could have typed that in there myself. So either he never bought a knife and sheath, which is plausible, or he did buy, they're saying he did buy a knife and sheath and he can't produce it. So, but you would think if that was the case, they would be screaming it from the rooftop. That would be one of the things that they would be, saying so very loud. Where's his knife? If you guys think he's innocent, where's his knife? Where's his sheet that he bought?
They're not
doing that.
Right. It sounds to me like they don't want to draw attention to that, Logan.
Absolutely. So it does make us question, well, you're not saying anything about him not being able to produce a knife, number 1. And number 2, you're not showing the receipt that he bought one.
Exactly. You are on point. That is a fact. Yes, ma'am. Big deal. And like I said, it sounds like they don't want to draw attention to that point. And by doing that, they would draw lots of attention to that point. People would be demanding to see this knife. They would be demanding this and that and everything else. And what if it were to be produced at that point? Oops. Now we have a huge problem, don't we?
Yep.
Huge problem. And I think they may be worried about that. I'm just saying. Great points. You guys are on point tonight. I love these questions, these statements. You guys are on it. I love it. Moving on. Yeah, Tandy's right. On the payment tab, there is no payment form, as in a gift card listed at all. Nothing. She is correct. So that's what we were told, that it was paid for with a gift card that he bought previous.
Yep.
and we don't see that. So I think that's huge. That's what I'm talking about, gracefully. If they found it when they at his Pennsylvania house, um, that it was there. They listed one of the knives on the evidence list they found in his parents' home. One of them is not described. The other two are described in depth as to what they are. That knife, the first one on the list, is just says knife, but they described everything else in detail except that one. That's my point. That it's very likely they did find it, and they don't want you to know that they found it at his mom and dad's house. That end point would completely kill the entire case.
Are you saying they don't want people to know that they found it at his parents' house because it will show when tested that it's not the same knife, it was never used?
That and the fact that it's at his parents' house. It's not missing. It's not in Idaho. It's at his parents' house and has been the whole time. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's the point that I'm trying to say. So I think it's interesting. I'm just curious. I may be completely wrong, you guys. It could just be that whoever did the evidence list was just an idiot and just wrote knife on there and when they were being lazy, and that's the answer to it. I just have to question that because everything else on that evidence list is described in detail, except that, and two other knives are right there with it that are described in detail, but that one's not.
So we just got done this afternoon reading Brian Koberger's diagnosis for his mental health, being autism spectrum disorder. Don't you think somebody in his family would have helped him pack to move across the country? More than likely his mom or his sister or all of the above. Don't you think they would have seen him pack a knife?
It's I would imagine, and I can agree.
They never said anything. I mean, look, I just got the FOIA response back a couple of days ago from MPD making the mock order of Brian Koberger's order that he placed on Amazon. And when they unboxed the knife sheath, they made marks all over that leather knife sheath. If Brian Koberger ordered a knife sheath and packed it, took it out, did whatever, packed it, moved it to across the country, surely that knife sheath then at the scene that they want us to think is Brian Koberger's would have marks all over it.
I agree.
It does not.
No, it looks brand new, unscathed, untouched, anything. It's crazy. I fully agree. That's the other question, too. We have to ask this. They found a knife sheath at the scene of the crime, correct? Allegedly, according to them. That's what they found. Why did they have to order a whole new everything? Why did they order all that, Logan?
Why did they do that? I've never seen that in a case ever. Oh, the murderer bought, Q-tips at the store afterwards. What? We need to go buy Q-tips at the store. What? Why? What is that proving? What is that doing?
Just as much as them buying the vegan supplements that they bought that weren't even the right ones, but they bought them. So for what reason did you do this?
I just find it interesting that what they bought came from a third-party retailer out of Florida and not from K-Bar itself. And that's an option to get it from K-Bar itself.
Yes, it is, and I fully agree with you. Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, truth and I fully agree. It looks like it's brand new, like it came out of the box that day. Fully agree, without a doubt. And I still want to know why. Why did they have to do this? They've never given a real excuse or reason for this. Not one.
Wild.
Which he said it's a third-party retailer that no longer is selling on Amazon either.
I'm going to say this again. I'll make it quick though. Many, many months ago, I did a comparison of K-Bar's knife sheath and a third-party retailer's knife sheath, although they can be the same if they both came from K-Bar. But there are K-Bar labeled knife sheaths that come from third-party retailers that are not K-Bar for real and look similar, but are very small details are different.
Yep.
And I thought the knife sheath at the scene looked like it was one that didn't actually come from K-Bar. It was a dupe. Thank you, Labs.
There are some slight differences. I fully agree with you. Thank you, Labs. Could be a K-bar knife have been given as a prize at the axe throwing contest. I mean, anything's
Sure.
possible.
Why not?
Absolutely. I don't put anything past anything in this case anymore. So that's a good point, Labs. Thank you for that. It's very much appreciated. But no, I agree with you. We were looking at it the other day, Logan. There's some little inflection differences that are like the stamp with the USMC looks a little bit slightly different. There's some coloring differences. So it almost looks like a Temu version of the real thing in some aspects it possibly could. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, because of a third-party vendor that no longer, like Richie said, no longer sells on Amazon, which is interesting to me as well. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yep. And again, you guys are on it, and I appreciate your input in the chat, guys. Welcome, Big Amish. Good to see you.
And I will never not think it's weird that they want us to believe, or that he did. I don't believe it, but he bought a leather knife sheath alongside vegan supplements. So stupid.
It doesn't make any sense. If you're a true vegan, you know exactly what she means by that. I agree. And Jethro, the USMC logo does not look deeply embossed like the other ones do. 100%. You are correct. That was my biggest issue.
That is one of the things. I did a deep dive into the knife sheath, the one from K-Bar and then a third-party one, and that was a big deal about it. That's absolutely correct.
Yep. Same thing. That's the one thing I knew what you meant. No problem, Jethro. That's one of the things I pointed out to my mods. We were looking at it in our Discord. They pointed out it as well. The embossment is not the same. One looks way more professional than the other one. And that's a problem. I agree.
It's not deep. It's off center. The rivets are spaced differently. There's so many little things.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That is a fact. So, yes. Again, thank you guys for the points. You guys are doing it tonight. I love it. Thank you so much.
The confidence and quality of your representation, right? But the other thing is that it's a pro form. It's the next step that has to happen in the process. You've done this before, I'm certain. I don't know whether you ever worked with Innocence Networks before, but I have through my entire career. In fact, I started working with the Innocence Project. My first big case, high profile case, was the West Memphis case. And I worked directly with the Innocence Project out of Cardozo Law in that case. And the process and the metrics and the intake ability of a Innocence Project is dependent upon all the other appeals being denied or completed, those processes completed. So in terms of it being a stepping stone towards other legal avenues, you have to knock them down one at a time, right?
A right turn, Clyde. It wasn't about the knife. It was about the sheath being leather. A lot of vegans don't want anything to do with anything that has to do with animals. The leather sheath is made from cowhide leather. That's what it was in reference to, not the knife itself.
Thing at a time. You can't just skip to the end, right? So I see it as a big legal hurdle. I fear that Ann Taylor is going to be in a lot more trouble than she thinks, because the communications that she had with everyone are documented. They're all documented. So all that stuff is going to come out. She no longer holds the privilege. Kohberger does. And if he gets his day in court, a hearing, which I worry that he won't, then all that stuff could come in. All those communications with family members and Kohberger himself, which he would want to have come out about the nature and extent of the coercion to him and his family by the attorney team. All right? We're not living in the old days where it's somebody's word. We don't take people at their word anymore because we can't. We have digital evidence we can use, text messages, video calls, video chats. The very evidence that we collected, we should have all collected in this case and disclosed initially, which took years to disclose, is the very evidence that would be presented in this court, in this type of hearing. So I'm not as pessimistic as you are, but I am realistic, which is I know what the hurdles are. And as you said, Mr. Kohberger is not an idiot either. So for him to put this on the table tells me that he's ready to go. And I don't think that his legal team is prepared for what he's going to present.
Well, and I think to your point about if we just start back with the original Dateline leak, I mean, if that comes back, that came from his own lawyers, I mean, right there, you put him in a position where he was never
or one of his
defended
experts
properly.
at the direction of the attorney, right? And then not just the attorney team, but also you got 3 attorneys and their assistants, and then you've also got, kind of a rogue defense expert right now going out there saying contrary things, And so we don't know. All we know is police think it came from the defense. And I know who it wasn't.
If that's the case, I mean, that is just, crazy. Now, let's talk about the evidence that they do believe, right, that they had against Kohberger from this whole time. And I know we talked about it last time you were on. I know it's part of Christopher Whitcomb's Broken Plea book. But talk to me again about, they basically found Bryan Kohberger based on the DNA that they got from the IgG DNA testing on the knife sheath. And I know that part of the big contention here is that knife sheath, the chain of custody wasn't proper, where it was found versus where it was in photos, all of those things. So talk to us again about because that really was the only piece of evidence they had other than the description of a vehicle, right? They didn't really have anything else. So that's what led them to Bryan Kohberger. So talk to me again about that and then what the issues were with that chain of custody, because I think it's important for people to remember that while they're listening today.
All right, so 2 things. One is that we don't know. As I'm sitting here today, I cannot confirm to you by any forensic metric or by any judicial testimony or any unsworn testimony, anything like that. I cannot attest to you that I know for sure how Bryan Kohberger became a suspect. What I do know is at every opportunity, there was deflection, there was dissembling, and there was withholding by law enforcement about how that exactly happened. At one point, you have a probable cause statement saying it was from an informant. And then at one point, it's the IgG. And then you have the experts in DNA being fired on both sides. I mean, it's just like nobody was getting the answers that they wanted and people were getting terminated. It's one of the weirdest cases ever. This was an issue that should have been resolved with testimony under oath and documentation provided by the state. They have yet to provide that clearly, in my opinion. So I cannot tell you that. Yeah. And the fact that I can't tell you that should tell you that they're still, faffing about it to try to create. They're searching for a narrative still, I think.
And in terms of what you were able to review, do you know if you were given access to all of the evidence or were you given access to certain pieces of evidence? How do you know that what Ann Taylor allowed you to look at was actually everything she had?
I'm smiling because I really love this question from prosecutors or attorneys when I'm on the stand. So did you look at everything? And the answer to that, there's only one answer to that is, how can I possibly know the answer to that?
Well,
I couldn't know. I've seen everything, but I can tell you this. Ann Taylor gave experts like myself access to a OneDrive on Google Drive that was called Expert One or whatever. And anytime you wanted to access it, you had to log in, put in the password. That would send her an email and she would send you a text message with the verification code. Okay, so pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with any of that. What I do know is I thought I was given, I asked for certain things. I make a list of things that I asked for. It's a pro forma list I asked for in every case. And so I do that. And then we go to Idaho to do the evidence viewing, which I do in almost every case that I can. I do an evidence viewing to see what they got, to check chains of custody, to check, like I was just in a case in Washington. It was a double homicide. And I had an item, and no fault of anybody. This was just an innocent mistake. Somebody collected an item and it said stun gun on it, right? I open up the bag. It's a flashlight, not a stun gun. There's no stun gun in there. Okay. This was just a mistake. Okay. And I wouldn't, it will get mentioned, but it's not, there isn't a lot of other mistakes around that. Do you know what I mean? So it was an error.
Yeah, of course.
Somebody thought it was a stun gun and that's how they labeled it. And, they got a new system. They're working on this particular location. It's all, I'm not out for blood. I just want to know what happened. In this case, I went there.
Sure.
And there were 2 sets of evidence. One is the evidence that the law enforcement collected. And it was the mattress from Ethan and the knife sheath that was collected. Both of them have falsified chains of custody. both of them. It's not just a knife sheath; it's a couple other things, and many of the other items have correct chains of custody on them, with multiple people signing them. So we know that they know how to do it correctly, and it's not improper; it's illegal. It's a falsification of evidence. It's actually tampering with evidence. That would be the charge, and also false swearing. You can't lie. It's a sworn document that you're filling out. So it's not like
of course.
Oops, I slipped and fell and filled it out for everybody wrong. No. That's not what happened. How did I know whether or not I had received everything from Ann Taylor? I can tell you that I didn't, because when I got to the bed frame that Ann Taylor's team had forced the police to collect before they destroyed the house, along with many other bloody items that the police did not want to check, did not want to collect, I found the hair on it. In this item. I'm like, what is going on here? This looks like a palm print on the side, and then there's all this hair there. Whose is this? And I look at it, it's Ethan's, the bed frame. It's white with wooden slats. And I'm like, what's this? And they're like, oh, that's the hair. Don't worry about that. We'll talk to you about that later. So we go back and we talk about it later, and they disclosed to me new autopsy photos that they hadn't given to me before. And other photographs that they'd taken of that, defense photographs that they had taken of the house before it was demolished, that they had not given to me. So they were playing their cards very close to the vest in terms of sharing material, even with me, which I found to be, I let them know that was not okay. You got to share with me everything.
Thank you so much, Miss Angela. Appreciate that so very much, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Moving on. You have anything you want to ask or talk about real quick while we're stopped, or do you want me to keep going?
Keep going.
Okie doke. Okie doke.
Because I anticipate being on stand.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to get this question from a very smart prosecutor named Donna, who's going to ask me, how do you know you've seen everything? And I'm going to have to throw you under the bus, and I'll do it.
That's right. That's right. Say, sorry, I don't know that answer. They filed so many pretrial motions here. There was a lot of pretrial litigation in this case. And I don't remember any pretrial litigation dealing with chains of custody and whether or not certain items should be used, right? I think they did do it on the knife sheath, right? But I don't know if they did it on anything else.
They didn't know until like a month. No, it was like maybe a few weeks before the plea, because it got brought. One of the investigators brought a question to my attention, which led us down this rabbit hole. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Because I don't think like that. I don't think that people are lying. But I also think as a scientist, which is that if I see something wrong in one spot, I know I got to look in the other spots too. I can't just now accept it without question. So you're always supposed to be checking change of custody. And I'd love to take credit for finding everything, but I didn't. I'm the forensic scientist though. So if an investigator brings me a piece of evidence and asks me about it, then I give my opinion, then that becomes evidence. And then it causes us to look at other things.
And yes, he did throw Ann into the bus, but not only does he throw Ann into the bus, this is one part I did see earlier. Wait till you see what he does coming up here. This is wild.
The change of custody were all falsified on those as well.
I mean, that would have been an amazing pretrial motion, because then you put that out there, you show the weakness, and then you put the police officers on the stand and they have to answer to this. And, I'm still trying cases. I did a jury last week and I had a police officer admit to me that, yes, evidence helps. Well, gee, go figure. Yes, it does. And so it's amazing. Yeah, it was such an amazing answer. And so, I look at this and I think to myself, these are defense dreams, right? These types of motions, to be able to put this out there and possibly not only cut through evidence, but if you cut through enough evidence that the prosecution can't use, and if a judge tosses it out, or even if the judge doesn't toss it out, you're preserving all these rights on appeal. It just is amazing to me that given all the other work that they did, and maybe you're right, maybe this comes down to the fact that she realized she was going to have some issues with regard to these leaks, and thought we better get out of this case as quickly as we can. And if that's the case, that is an injustice to everyone in this case, not only Brian Kohberger, but everyone.
I will submit to you that the misconduct goes further than just Ann Taylor. It goes to Becca Barlow, it goes to the other attorney, and it goes to their forensic psychologist, who was behaving in a way that is completely improper. And certainly that was my experience with her. but also was the experience of Mr. Koberger.
There it is. Vicka Barlow, Eliza Masseth, and the forensic psychologist, guys. He just threw everybody under the damn bus. All of them. Bam, 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 bam. Every damn one. And Vicka Barlow, I mentioned this earlier with Sarge. He made a good point. Vicka Barlow is the reason why Dr. Turvey was brought on board with this case, okay? They were, I don't want to say friends, but they were like work associates or some shit. And every one of them, this guy is standing for justice in aspect with nothing else in mind. He doesn't care who it is, how it is, or what it is. He just put everybody under the bus and ran them over twice, in my opinion. This is wild. I mean, wild. Everybody, he's saying the entire defense team knew about this. All of them, including the forensic psychologist, which I think is kind of wild.
I feel like I hope somebody is sending this to whoever Brian Koberger's new lawyer is, because these make a difference. They might seem small in comparison to some evidence or whatever it is, but to know that his very own team was not doing what they were supposed to be doing, that is surefire proof of ineffective assistance of counsel.
None of them, Logan. This is massively huge to me. Like the whole fucking team. They're all on board with the same thing, and it's doing all the wrong stuff. If that's true, oh my God. Okay. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable that we have it. We have the corruption coming from both sides now. It's not just the investigation that was purposely done shitty as heck. And, we've got fires and broken fridges and DNA that was never tested and nothing put into CODIS until Brian Koberger came along. And, we have that type of corruption. And then we have defending a client, not defending a client, and threatening him and knowing this stuff, thinking he's guilty, but pretending to be on his side. And
And my question with that whole situation that you just pointed out, was it that way from day one? Or is this something that happened little by little by little by little? Obviously, the prosecution, I feel like, has been that way from day one forward. But was the defense, if this is true, of course, was the defense on board with this from the beginning as well? Or was this something that was slowly brought on board after other things may have happened? That's kind of my question now at this point.
Yeah, and that's a really good question. Like, has it been the whole entire time? So if that's true, then how do we trust their reports? How do we trust?
Yeah, agreed. Thank you, Kawanda. God bless, hon. I knew Ann Taylor couldn't be trusted, but this is worse than I ever imagined. Poor Brian, just pure evil. Fully agree with that, Kawanda. Thank you, hon. Very much appreciated. And of course, you got to have the dancing star crunch, as Logan calls it. So thank you. Thank you, Kawanda. I love it. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's the biggest question I have now. What I have to wonder, like I said, and why I'm asking this question, because at some point, unless she's a very good actor, if this is true, I keep having to say that because I have to make sure we understand that. I want to believe what he's saying because he has so much to lose if he's wrong. Okay, massive lawsuits and all this. If it can be proven that he's wrong, this could be horrible for him. But if he's right, and was it always from day one, or was there blackmail involved? Were there threats involved? I'm just curious. You want me to pull that or speak on that?
Yeah, I think it's a good statement.
Ann dropped Kara's case, got money as defense attorney, took up an hour as part of Quad Cities in bed. Yeah. And that other case, good point. Skylar Mead, and yes. Ooh, good call. Yeah. Good call.
It makes you wonder why.
And then she got her own practice too, Logan. Remember that?
Yeah.
She stepped out of the box from the state and ended up in her own practice. And makes you wonder how and
To
why
turn
that happened.
around and do what? Be ineffective?
Yeah, right.
For what? Like, there is something bigger at play here, and I think it's for all of them.
Yes. Yeah.
But what
I,
is it?
I feel like they all had their hands in the basket and each person took their turn when they needed to. I agree.
Mhm.
Wow. Good call. Oof. I'm gonna push play. I gotta run to the bathroom real quick. That coffee went through me fast. I'll be right.
Sure.
She was there instead of in her role as an evaluator. She was doing all kinds of other things that she shouldn't be doing. And I've worked so many death penalty cases. The lines are so very clear about what your role is, what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do, the types of communication that you have, difference between treatment and diagnosis, which is a therapeutic position, and then assessment of mental faculty for a forensic assessment, a forensic position. These two areas are in conflict, and you can't have the same person doing both. And so in this case, it was the lines were so blurred for everybody, myself not included, because I've done this so many times. I protect myself very carefully because I anticipate testimony and I anticipate having to answer questions under oath. And I alone can be held accountable, whereas somebody who's not going to testify or a lawyer will not be held to account the same way. So I agree with you. It's a travesty, but I think what I think people need to understand from this is that it is far worse than most people understand. The conduct that was engaged in by the defense team, the conduct that was engaged in by the person who made the leak, depending on who that is, the lack of transparency of the defense team to Mr. Koberger, and all the other allegations of being coerced. I mean, he's not going to make that allegation unless he has the evidence. And if she's communicating with him over text messages, well, guess what?
Right, exactly. And the real travesty.
I believe that he's got more than evidence. He's got character witness to prove that, being his family members. They can testify to the fact of what happened word for word because they were involved in it. Whoever set that up was so stupid they didn't think that they were going to have to deal with that situation after the fact.
No, they didn't. And I think that's why he's so confident in saying that gives you the chance to put the death penalty back on the table.
Yep.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Exactly. Bring it on. He challenged it. Like, I'm ready because I know what you did. And so does my family, word for word. All four of them can testify to what they sat through. As he says in the PCR statement he wrote, that as I said this many a times now, the plea talks were there was a lot of strange things that went on during the plea talks that need to be brought to the surface and talked about. So there it is right there. And his family sat through that whole thing with him. So people aren't going to believe Brian, but you'll believe everybody else in his family.
And like we said before, those are strong words to put in a PCR,
Yes,
in a court filing, in a court document. In this kind of case as well. I mean, you can't say those things flippantly and just add them because, somebody said something not nice to me. No.
Right. And shouldn't those talks be recorded, Logan? There should be a record of them, correct? I would think, legally.
Which, like, with his
the plea talks with his parents, the attorneys, and everything, that should be recorded, I would think.
I don't know how far attorney-client privileges go if they are. I don't know if they're recorded.
I mean, I know somebody's saying no, but
Yeah.
I would think they would have to have it on record, or have a court reporter maybe be writing it down so that it is on record as to what was said, or I can't see anything going on in a court setting or anything based on a court aspect not recorded for protection of either side is all I'm thinking, but maybe not.
I mean, physically in court, yeah, that's recorded. Like a stenographer, they're not stenographers anymore. They talk into that thing, like those, yes, but in chambers or in your lawyer's office, no.
Yeah, and like Amish just said, yes, unless done in chambers, which raises other issues.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, If they were, that would have been like the be all to end all right there. So just saying.
I'm just curious. I know that for Brian Kohlberger, he can say basically whatever he wants, and he's got to have the proof of it. So I'm very curious who he's going to bring in to prove the proof of these things. When didn't he talk to these people privately?
He did, but he did it with his mom and dad and his two sisters involved as well. I think that's where the mistake was made, because I don't think anybody even thought about the fact that they would be able to testify to what was stated in those interviews or in those meetings.
Huh.
That should be quite interesting. But see, here's what I don't know though. Would they take the family of a defendant and take their testimony as word because they are the family of a defendant?
Right. I mean, that's confusing, because I'm sitting here thinking, at what point is it his word against their word, and who are you going to believe? I know they ask for proof, but your family could say whatever they want just to back
save
you
your ass.
up.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting to see how that can be proved.
I'm wondering if there has to be a non-biased person that was like a jail guard or something that was standing there and overheard and can testify to, yeah, that is true, that is what happened, or whatever.
Right. Or like we said, a court reporter or somebody, something, you know what I mean, to record it somehow.
Yeah.
Beyond, obviously locking up somebody if you don't have the proof. But the real travesty too is if let's say that the judge says, you know what, Mr. Kohlberger, we're going to let you withdraw your plea. We're going to start this over from the beginning. I mean, the expense alone to the taxpayer to have to do this again would be horrible. I mean, lawyers take oaths. And if you can't trust that your own lawyer is going to do what's best for you, or at least put you in a position where you make the decision, right? Here's all the evidence. Here's Dr. Turvey's report. Here's everybody else's findings. Here's what we've discovered. And at the end of the day, they're offering to take the death penalty off the table. Do you want it or not, based on the evidence? That's one thing, right? And there's a lot of people who I think should go to trial that sometimes don't, because they don't want to take the risk. And that's a decision that clients make. But that is completely different than being put in a position where you're not told about pieces of evidence, or you're not told about strength of evidence, or you're not told about the way experts view evidence. That's a completely separate conversation.
Yes. So to your first point, let's talk about the money, because that's been covered a lot. And I think it's important for people to understand that the death penalty is expensive. It's one of the reasons why many states stopped doing it, because when you are working a case and you're working now, let me give you full disclosure. My contract was for about $25,000. That's about $10,000 more than I normally make on a given case. All right. And that's disclosing a lot, because most experts don't like to talk about money. If I worked only for the prosecution, I'd be able to charge between $150,000 and $200,000 per case. I don't do that. I work for either side. The money is not what's important to me. Most of the money is not going to have a lot of money will be spent by the defense, but most of the money will be spent by the state. All right, to try to make their case. I have not seen cases spend this much money in a long time, and this much money for so little result. The money shouldn't even be the conversation. The conversation should be, how did we spend this much money and we still don't have answers from the prosecution, or we have overstated, overcompetent evidence? And I can tell you it's because they basically, handed the investigation and the forensics over to the FBI and let them do it. And just kind of like, well, we don't really know anything about that. We'll let you do it. And the FBI were overconfident and wrote reports that said one thing and then had to testify in a way that reduced their confidence about the car, about the DNA, about how people were found, about the cell tower stuff. I mean, it's all just too disgusting. Again, it's disgusting for me to spend this amount of money and not have straight answers from anybody on the state side, everybody having to reduce themselves. They took this very 100% posture of guilt, and then you get them under oath and all of a sudden it's 70%, maybe 80%. I don't know. So there is the money issue.
Yeah.
But the
That's
money
really
when you are morally certain that the death penalty is the right thing for your state, it's going to cost you, because we do not put people to death in this country when we think that they might be innocent. All right? That's a rule.
sure.
I mean, we don't kill innocent people, right? We can agree with that, I hope. We don't want to kill innocent people. So in the search for truth, resources will be expended, not just money, but time and effort and emotions and all that good stuff. So that's the first thing. What I would expect is if Hippler says, I'm going to grant it for you, let's start over. Great. Let's get a real death qualified attorney that actually has experience working in death penalty trials. Not somebody who's a dealer who knows how to make a plea and has maybe worked a couple cases. I mean, somebody who actually knows what they're doing. Because this is a case where now everybody's sort of on the line. The second thing is, if anybody, anybody on the side of the state or the defense has engaged in misconduct, they have opened themselves up to litigation and lawsuits. I worked on a case in Connecticut. Versus Birch and Henning, the Birch and Henning case. These were was a home invasion where the only evidence in the case was DNA from blood alleged to have been found on a towel. That was the only evidence, all right, in the whole case. And I did the examination of that evidence in the case, and I found that the expert in that case had falsified that item. And that case went all the way to the Supreme Court of Connecticut. That expert was Henry Lee, my mentor. Now, what happened?
Wow.
He got sued personally, and he got sued to the tune of $30 million, and he lost. He refused to show up to defend himself. He knew what he had done. He had dry labbed this result for the police. There was a bunch of other cases that were going on at the same time where the same allegations were being made. But this was back in 2011. So when experts lie, there should be consequences. And in many states, there are.
Sure,
When
just
lawyers
like police
lie
or
for
anybody. Yes,
suborned perjury,
absolutely.
there should be consequences.
$30 million, y'all. Damn.
Okay, but did he get his ability to practice law taken away? No.
That's what I'm saying. We said this earlier. Will there be true punishment for this? I doubt it, unless somebody can find criminal activities and point to it. Yeah, but I think they could if they actually did a real investigation on this.
Unreal.
That is a lot of damn money, folks. But if you can just pay this off and keep practicing law, that's a bigger problem yet. Okay, you can't have people doing that. You can't do that.
As long as you give us money, you can still keep being a liar in the courtroom and falsifying evidence. And what the heck?
Yeah, and this was his mentor. That's crazy. And this is crazy as shit, you guys.
Wouldn't his mentor be
And that's
an expert of some sort?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would be the same type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. We'll have to look it up. His name was Henry Lee. Glitch DNA's in the house. Miss Audrey, welcome. Good to see you today. Thank you for joining us, dear.
Hi, Glitch. Good to see you.
They probably falsified the DNA in this case. I truly believe they did, Audrey. I have for a long time, based on things I learned from you. So, yeah, I agree.
Wouldn't put it past them.
No. Yeah, I've heard that name before. Henry Lee. I have definitely heard it.
Separate conversation. What I'm concerned about is people have already kind of decided, well, he's guilty, so he's done. He already said he was guilty. Again, 1/3 of defendants who are investigated by the Innocence Project are found to have been wrongfully convicted. 1/3 of them were coerced by their defense attorneys. This is a common concept. I am so grateful to you as an attorney, as a criminal justice professional, that you and I can meet, regardless of the side that we take, on this very even plane of, hey, we don't do that. We let the client decide. Right. You give them my job is to educate attorneys educate the client, and my job then becomes maybe educate the court, maybe educate a jury. But ultimately there's a trier of fact that's going to come in and make a decision. And we want them to have the best and fullest and most complete set of information that exists. You and I can agree on that without getting mad at each other.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I see you guys all saying it. Henry Lee was one of the experts in the OJ case. Yeah. So there you go. That'll tell you how big and bound that person was, and got to look them up now and see where they're at.
That's not the world we live in
Absolutely.
right now. Nobody wants anybody to have a fair shake. Nobody wants anybody to the truth to come out. People decide who the monsters are, and then they go down that road instead of doing the investigation.
It's interesting you say that, because just this last week I did a jury, and it was an attempted murder case, and the client had another lawyer for the first 7 years that his case was pending. And we came in, and I think in about 8 months decided to take the case to trial. And this guy was trying to push this guy to take a deal every which way from Sunday. And we came in and I talked to him about that deal, and I talked to him about why it was less of a risk, because it was much less time than he would serve if he lost. But at the end of the day, he has a right to have his day in court. And we tried that case, and that jury came back in about 4.5 hours with a not guilty. So, you have to be able to, and for clients that say, I did not do this, I am actually innocent, and I want to have my day in court, then they're willing to take a risk.
That's exactly right. If you have somebody who's guilty and they get a good plea deal, they're going to take it. Right. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That sets up a stereotype. And if you apply that stereotype or that caricature of a defendant to Brian Kohberger, you're going to miss all the important information.
Yeah, Truth and Neurons, you are right. Mark Furman was one of the investigators in the OJ case and did move to Idaho, and they actually consulted with him in the beginning of this case, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
100%, Noelle. I fully agree with you, dear. Everybody should be like Grady Judd.
Oh, yeah.
Grady Judd is the shit. That man should run for president, in my opinion, period. So, fully agree, Miss Noelle. I hope you're doing well and feeling good, dear. Grateful to have you here.
Facts and details underneath the surface that are going on that he has not been talking about. Like I said, he's been a good client, as far as I can tell, by virtue of doing what he was told, as well as his family, and keeping their mouths shut.
Talk to me a little bit about the hair that was found in Ethan Chapin's hand. I know we talked about this originally. This is something that's gotten a lot of communication online and otherwise, and that the hair did not match Brian Kohberger's, but there's some inconclusive facts out there. And again, because the prosecutors really didn't answer, and because Kohberger didn't really allocute, there's still a lot of questions surrounding that hair. The police are saying it was tested, it wasn't Kohberger's, that it was Chapin's himself. Now, is that true, or do we have no idea who that hair belongs to?
Nobody who's under oath is saying that, and no report says that it belongs to Ethan. That is where our world exists. So anybody who's saying these is guessing. They're saying maybe it's in, maybe it's not. Just like Ann Taylor and her team said, they asked me, what if it belongs to somebody in the house? I'm like, well, maybe it does. We need to find out who that is and how it got in his hand, right? Because that would wreck the timeline. Well, let's talk about what does exist, okay? The hair, my first encounter was the hair on the bed frame. And it was like probably 20, 30 strands, about that long, coming off the bed frame, attached in blood on the bed frame with Ethan's in the
That's a lot.
imprint of
I mean,
Ethan's
20,
hand.
30 strands, that's a lot. Yeah.
It's way more than that. Okay, so but that's what I could see. I can show you the pictures right now if you want to. But the pictures of the hair on the bed frame and that are also attached to the wall is even more. There's even a bigger clump from what's on the bed frame attached to the wall. When they pulled it away, there's a nice little streak of blood. When they pulled it away, there's hair attached to the wall and sealed to the wall with blood. And it's even more than that amount of hair. Then we have the hair that's in his hand. The phone was taken at the crime scene. Okay, so there's 3 different photos. So anybody who has not looked at all the evidence and who is speaking on issues that they don't know anything about because they're not a reconstructionist or not a forensic scientist, anybody who's saying that those hairs doesn't exist, it means that they haven't looked at the evidence and aren't aware of what's going on in the case. They viewed the case through their very narrow aperture. I did crime scene analysis and reconstruction, which means my hands were in everything. All right, so those photographs exist, and not only that, they were leaked online. There are people that have put these photographs online and put them into nice collages for everybody to see. So the first hurdle to clear is, do they exist? Yes. Then when the police wrote a report about it, it was described in the autopsy report and the police reports as debris in his hands. There was no debris in his hands. Yes. It was just human hair. All right. a clump of it in his hands, then some stuck to the bed frame, and then some stuck to the wall. That hair was of such significance that they sent it off to the FBI lab, who looked at it under a microscope and said, these hairs do not share similar characteristics. Therefore, there's no DNA testing needed to be done. And Brian Kohberger is excluded. These are the facts. These are not Brent Turvey's speculations. This is what exists on the record. Now, have you heard anything about that? Other than through me? No. No one wants to talk about it. Why? Because it would upend the case. It would upend everything. It would change everything we think about the timeline, the narrative, the interaction, who was in what room. But there's other evidence. There's down in the first floor bedroom, we have the jacket that didn't get collected or tested properly. We have a bloody bracelet that was on the floor that got picked up and moved by police and put on one of the desks and ignored and not collected. We have many different items of evidence like that weren't exactly examined or considered in the timeline because they got lost or forgotten or just plain ignored because they didn't fit the narrative. I come back to the same thing every time. When you want to know what happened, you examine the evidence. When you want to know what the truth is, you pursue that evidence to find out whose it is, how it got there, conditions of transfer, and what that means for the entirety of the reconstruction of the case. And there's not a real interest in doing that. In fact, they were so disinterested in doing that they demolished the house. I never even heard of that before, where you demolished the house.
I know, me neither.
And then they created this 3D model of it that I went out again to examine and took my photographs and did a 3D scan of it. It doesn't even match the interior of the house. It's full of incorrect access, incorrect sizes. It says big sign there, not to scale. They wanted to use it as a trial exhibit. Didn't have anything in it. Didn't have anything to do with the case. Just an approximation of maybe what the house might have looked like inside. We're not sure.
I'm going to say that I feel like no matter which way you fall on this, right? Whether you think Brian Kohberger did it, whether you think he didn't do it, no matter what you think, I think everyone that's paid attention to this case has always wanted to see a trial here, because a trial was either going to expose that there was or there wasn't enough evidence, and a trial could potentially answer the question, why or how. And so no matter how you feel about this, no one got those answers. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Judge Hippler does and see if we ever get those answers. But no matter what happens, I'm sure, Dr. Turvey, I will want to talk to you about it. So I hope you'll be back with me, and I thank you so much.
Unbelievable. See, he talks about how, we've got the bloody bracelet, we've got the crock with blood on it, we've got 2 crocks that were collected with blood. He says that there is a multitude of other things that should have been taken into evidence that have blood on them like that never were given a second look. And now I'm so curious what those are, because we know about the ones that he just mentioned. What are the other ones?
Bingo. Thank you. And maybe Logan, maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't. I hope that because of the way these things are falling into place that it will. I'm going to show you, is Mountain Man still in here? He wanted to see this sock.
He's in here.
Okay, so just to read this real quick. Xana Carnodal was described in her autopsy report as being a well-developed, well-nourished adult female measuring 67 inches and weighing 150. As the body was received, which was clad in a blue long-sleeve pullover sweatshirt and tan thong-style underwear. Stab and incised wounds described at the head and neck. Stab wounds to the torso, 14 incised wounds to the right, 15 in left, 10 arms and incised wounds of legs. Barefoot. Kaylee Gonsalves. Now I'm showing, these are both put together so that we can understand as we know who ran through the house, who didn't run through the house, okay, as the stories we are told. Kaylee was described in her autopsy report as being a well-developed, well-nourished adult female measuring 64 inches, weighing 168. As the body was received, which was clad in a black graphic t-shirt, black plaid fleece pajama bottoms, and a gray sock partially on the left foot. Stab and incised wounds were described to the scalp, face, and neck, 24 plus chest, 11 on arms, and 3. 1 sock partially off the left foot. Now, let me show you this other sock found in the living room. And I think the way they describe this is where the hard part comes into. How you take it is how you take it. It says a gray sock partially on the left foot, meaning partially gray is what I'm thinking they're trying to say, which was dumb the way they wrote this, because it is a white sock with a gray toe. 1 minute. Right here. As soon as I get it in frame. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. So it's a white sock with a gray toe. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's why they stated it. I don't know. Whatever. You should have just said a white sock with a gray toe.
I always thought it was partially on the foot.
I don't know how to say it for sure, but like the other
Yeah.
one, you know what I mean? That's what I don't know. But this is one sock. It's just one sock.
But that doesn't even look like a Nike sock, and Kaylee's sock was a Nike sock.
Well, that's the thing. I can't really tell by. Let me see if the other photograph shows it. Good call. Good point. Wait, where is this? I don't know what this other photograph is showing me. I mean, unless it's on the side, Logan, and we can't see it.
Right.
I know my Nike socks have it on the side like that, the swoosh. And that's the only thing I can think of. But that's what they're claiming that is the other sock.
But here's the thing. I don't think it really matters either way, because Kaylee's family said before that she was known for wearing mismatched socks.
That's a good point.
That was her thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she could have had a gray Nike sock and then this white and gray sock that's not Nike at all on her foot. We don't know.
That's a good call. Good point. Very good point. All right. 1 minute. I don't know, guys.
That was a good interview.
It was great, and like I said, he held no bones. And here's the thing, I'm glad I want to talk about this a little bit now if we can. I cannot believe with this man's background, Logan, the professionalism that he has, the livelihood that he's created for himself in this. You know, as well as I know, that if this man come forth with all this information, that if he's wrong, what it's going to do to him. If he's lying, what it will do to him. There would be massive lawsuits, injunctions, all sorts of things are going to happen to this guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't seem slightly nervous. He holds no bones about telling you about it. Nothing, Logan.
But what's crazy is I sit here and think same thing about Cy though. You know, wouldn't you think that he would not want to put his expertise on the line? And
yeah, but what if Cy believes that we got this? I ain't worried. No worries. Nobody's going to come out against us. Nobody's going to believe anybody that comes out against us. And maybe he's that sure of himself that they're going to be good. Maybe he was told that. We got this. Don't worry about it. I don't know, but I agree with you. Like, none of these people should be doing this, but they're doing it. And I think the one that has the most to lose is Turvey, because he's not in that circle, okay? He's not law enforcement. He's not this, that, or anything else. He doesn't have that protection like Cy has, like Ann probably has, like all of these people probably have, if it's true. Turvey's on his own, in my opinion, like on his own island. You know what I'm saying? Just a thought. Just a thought.
That's true. And, you know, Cy could be out here like there's a small group of people that think Bryan Kohberger didn't do this or didn't do this alone, or we have the wrong narrative. And Cy could be thinking the rest of the world is siding with me. Nobody's going to do shit about this if I speculate that he was in the living room. Who cares? That's probably what they want to hear anyway.
Agreed. Yep. I believe. I believe.
Which
Why those
says,
words?
Cy is a multimillionaire many times over after selling his company anyways. So.
He don't care. He don't care. You are right. He owns car dealerships and weird shit like that, I've heard. So I don't know.
Which tells you right there, like, if that is part of it, that he doesn't care because he doesn't really need to be doing this. It's not his full-time job. He's got a million other sources of income. Well, that tells you right there then that his integrity is shit.
Yeah. Which we looked in his past a little bit. I think that speaks for itself anyway, Logan. He's done some things in his past that I don't look at him the same way I did. And now with all this coming out, I don't anyway. Again, I don't I took Turvey the way I did the first time, and I took it slight because other people were saying, why would you believe him, Dago? Why do you believe this? And he came out of nowhere. He did this, he did that. And now he's come out again and he's stuck to his story. He's standing for what he believes. He's not changed his story. He's not backing down.
I just can't get over why all of them are saying that Xana is in the kitchen or just not in a room. I don't understand.
And that's the other thing is Turvey's not saying that. Everybody else is saying that, though. You get that? Like, they're sticking with that narrative because that's the police narrative. That is the prosecution's narrative. Everybody that's staying on that side of things seems to be the ones that are being called out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't believe it was Xana. I think it was Kaylee. I do.
I agree.
No, I know what you're saying, Mount Man. She didn't look like she weighed that much, but that's, people carry it different ways, I guess. On my word, Jules is rubbing off on you guys with all the. Oh, we've been doing this for a while, Pedro. This is just how we are. It's because of the passion we have with this, buddy. Like, we get frustrated about things, we get irritated, and it just comes out. You know what I mean? So if it's offensive, my apologies.
I didn't say a curse word.
No, I don't think you did, but I did. So I'm sorry if I did.
Oh.
I didn't even realize that I did. So I'm telling you guys, and here's the thing. Look at what we've seen recently. Chris Whitcomb came out, like I said before, he opened the door for this, okay? I wish Jules was actually here with us, but she was live. We couldn't do that. She did the thing already, but
yeah.
Chris Whitcomb came out, opened the door for this. And Chris Whitcomb, I feel like his book was written basically by Turvey, okay? Because all his information, a lot of his information came through Turvey, and then whoever his other sources are. So it is what it is. And then we had Turvey come out, do his interview. And then we had Holland come out, do his interview. And then doing cleanup. Here comes Whitcomb coming back through again after all the other shit happened. And I can't look away from this. I can't. And as you see, we have Cyree who completely flip-flopped, folks. And I mean, it's you can't deny what he did. Okay, you cannot deny what he did. And now he's siding with the Gonsalves family, like hooked, like very close to them, kind of ass kissing. Sorry for the statement, the way I'm putting it, but that's what he's doing. Okay, gaslighting them, telling them all sorts of shit, becoming as close to them as he can, apologizing. And if you remember in the beginning, when he'd made his statement and put out his affidavit, the Gonsalves family ridiculed him to no end. They slayed him with words. Period. They couldn't stand him. And look at him now, you guys. It's disgusting.
Yep. Have you ever seen anything like this in any other case that you can remember where experts are coming out and flip-flopping? Experts are arguing with each other on YouTubers' channels.
No.
All while now something else has been filed in the case. So there's going to be more court hearings. And I mean, I've never seen anything so sloppy, so messy, so flip-floppy, so parents grifting and like I've so
seen
strange.
This middle school, Logan. Middle school.
Yeah.
That's the last time I saw this, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the sock that was on the bed. Thank you, Pixie. Thank you, hon. Very much appreciated. This is the sock that was found on the bed. Right there. That is solid gray.
Yeah. But they did say it was a Nike sock, and I still don't see a Nike
That doesn't
emblem
look
on
like
it either.
yeah,
So it could be on the other side, I guess.
maybe. I don't know which one is which. We were told that it was the one in the living room. Hang on. Trying to make that we can see this better. It's not working though. Damn it, Dago. Get it right. It just doesn't want to blow up right. Anyway, yeah, again, we can't see a symbol on either one of these. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Thank you so much, Pixie. I appreciate that. I don't know which way it is, which way it isn't. So either way, why are they off? One of them came off of her foot.
Wait. So the other one was still on her foot and went to the morgue
with the
her?
body. With the body, yes.
Okay.
So what is it in the report? Does it state? Because I don't remember. It's been a while. Does it state the sock? What the sock on her foot looks like that went with her? Are you
It
still
was a
chasing
Nike
that?
sock.
It was a Nike sock, but it doesn't say white, gray or white, solid gray, solid white, or anything like that.
I want to say it was gray.
Well, then that would be the one. If it's solid gray. See, we were told that the other sock was on the floor in the living room, which would be explained by her running through that room, in my opinion. But again, we don't know. We don't know for sure. I'll take it either way. It doesn't matter to me. How did the sock end up off? If she was in the bed the whole time, it could be from her trying to get away from somebody, backing herself up into the corner and move with her feet moving so fast, the sock slides off. I could see that happening. Okay. If it's this one in the bed, if it's the other one, I could see it because from her running, trying to get away, and it comes off her foot as she's running. That's just my thought. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Who knows? Either way, this is just one thing, but everything else, you guys, it still doesn't line up. You know what I'm saying?
I was just gonna say that, Mountain Man. What do you think of Dylan's shoe under Xana's bed?
Xana's bed. Great question. Is it because Xana borrowed Dylan's shoes? Nope. Dylan
No
has
way.
some big feet. Xana didn't. You know what I mean?
I don't see Xana wearing heels like that to a party.
I don't either. And Xana and Dylan have like massive differences in their feet size. Okay.
Oh yeah, they would have to. I would think Dylan's feet would be much bigger than everybody's there.
Yeah. And Noel says, I think that sock belongs to the Doc Martin boots. It's possible. It is. It's all very possible. Every bit of it. So one on her foot, one in the bed, and one on the floor. That's right, Michelle. Who knows? And like Logan said, maybe she had both on. Maybe she had the white one on with the gray toe and this one, or vice versa, or whatever. I mean, she could have had a black sock on for all we know.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. But if and when we can find that out for sure, that will answer that question at that point. But going back to, you're killing me with the fly swatter. I love it.
This thing is driving me nuts.
I get it. I can't stand it when I get flies in here. The most important thing here is that this man just threw the entire defense team under the bus. The entire defense team, including the forensic psychologist, folks. All of them. And said they all know what the truth is. They're all lying. They all coerced this man. They trapped him. They cornered him. They threatened him. And this is why he's filing PCR. Now, I know there's a lot of people out here that believe that this is a big plan, that they're all involved in this huge plan, Cy and Ann and everybody, and that this is the only way that they could get truth and justice for Brian. And I'm not going to deny it yet. Okay, I'm not going to completely deny it, and I'm not going to completely throw her under the bus at this point. But it's very hard to not believe him. Very hard. Because, again, who's right and who's wrong? They all have a lot to lose, except for Cy, in my opinion, because he's a millionaire. So there needs to be more. We've heard the 3D chess thing. I'm sorry, Witchy, I won't say it. I didn't mean to say it, but we've heard this many times. I struggle with that. I really struggle with that.
I'm tired of hearing that. Tired of hearing it.
I agree with you. I just don't. there's too many things that I just don't believe that make it hard for me to grasp a hold of.
Yep, absolutely. Mom Man says Turvey just said checkmate, though.
I know. I mean, he did. If that's what it is, he did. I got you. He said it. You're done. I got this. And let's wait. Now, this is a new interview that's been out, I think, since today. Let's see if there's a new statement that comes from Miss Taylor. She did it, what, 24 hours, 2 days, 48 hours after he made his last statement?
I was just going to ask, how long
I think
was it before?
Yeah, it was something like that. So let's see what happens. If she doesn't say a word, then hey. But it would explain it, Logan, like why she did it the last time. It would explain why she did it the last time. If he's right, the reasoning for her to do this is to deface him and to make him look like a fool and try to say that he's out of his wheelhouse, all this other stuff, and make him look bad for saying what he said. Again, that would be a good reason to do it. Or she's right. The problem is we're on the outside looking in and we don't know truth from reality, from any of it, Turvey book. Curious Cat says, Turvey book. That would be interesting to see if he writes a book now. Although he kind of already didn't he? When Wickham wrote Broken Plea, that's kind of Turvey's book.
I just don't understand what Turvey did that was any different or any worse than what Cy Ray did, and why would Ann Taylor put something out on him rather than Cy Ray? Is there something that Cy Ray did not speak on that Turvey did? I don't
know. I mean, he's done nothing other than what he claims he's coming forth to present the truth. That's all he's doing, according to him, because he believes in it. And Brian's family reached out to him. Remember that. So,
yep.
I'm curious to see if Melissa reaches out to, if Melissa sees this one, and then if she reaches out to Jules and says anything about it, or vice versa.
I'm just glad to see that there is somebody staying 10 toes down and being honest and saying what it is, and not being a follower, not, sticking up for what is right and what is honest. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm with you, Curious Cat. I fully believe that too at this point. I told you guys I was kind of on the fence with it for a little because I didn't know what to think. We don't know, but after seeing this, my mind is kind of made up. I feel like this guy has too much to lose to not be telling the truth. Way too much.
Absolutely.
And you know what's funny? You know what? Hold on 1 second, Logan. I'm sorry. Kawanda, thank you for saying this. When Chris Whitcomb came forward and he did his interviews and stuff, he told us backstage, this is one of the 3 things that has come forth and become true. So I gotta wonder if this is it, Kawanda. I didn't tell you guys this because we were told not to in the beginning, but he told us that Netflix was coming forth with a new special, or well, it's a hit piece, but you know what I meant, like a new documentary, and that there were going to be 2 whistleblowers that came forward, law enforcement-based whistleblowers. Maybe he had that wrong, but could Turvey be one of the whistleblowers? And is there another one coming? Because obviously Cy's not.
Do you think it's an expert that's another whistleblower?
It's either that, but he referred to them as law enforcement, if I remember correctly. Thank you, Kawanda. Don't quote me because it's been a while and I may be wrong, but it could be. It could be another expert, or it could be a law enforcement. Wouldn't it be interesting if somebody within law enforcement came forth and said, this is how this went, boom, 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 boom? I think that would lock it in for me, Logan.
Interesting.
I do. Anybody else with any questions? Because we're going to have to let Miss Logan go here shortly. Very shortly. It could be, I agree. It could be anybody considering how deep this goes. Amen, and I agree.
This is really wild stuff.
We just had another door opened, in my opinion. I'm curious to see what comes next, because I do believe there's something coming next.
That's what I was just going to ask you. I was going to ask you, what do you think is next? Who do you think is next?
I don't even know, and I have a gut weird twisted feeling, which is why I brought that up. Is it, fingers crossed, what if somebody within law enforcement does come forward?
I think it's going to be a piece of evidence. It's going to be something in an unsealed document or a FOIA or something that is so big that cannot be overlooked, and it will have been overlooked or not spoken on, or something that the prosecution did or said that is something. It's going to be a piece of evidence, I think, or something that should have been evidence.
Good point. Or Tara just said autopsy person. So interestingly enough, what if Dr. Singh comes forward and says that wasn't the real full autopsy report, guys? Here's what it is. This is what happened. And that would blow that out of the water, especially the toxicology report. I think you're right, though. I think it's possible somebody could come forth with some kind of evidence that is highly exculpatory, and or something like that. Is a good call, Tara. It's a good point. Or what if people are watching this and they're seeing what's happening and they're going, you know what I mean? Like, okay, these people are coming forward. Now we can do it. And they start stepping out saying, here's what I know. This is what happened. This is what really it is. So on and so forth. I mean, just saying.
Yeah, that could be.
I'm looking for your last post, Curious Cat. Was it the one that I posted already? Or was there one after that? Oh, this one. I'm good. Thank you. Yes, you're more than welcome. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Okay. So again, I don't know what's gonna happen. I have a really gut feeling that something, and I've kind of been, and I'm not like tooting my own horn, but I told you guys I felt like something big was gonna go down. And I think it's starting to go down. Like, I truly do. A little by little, it's happening. So I gotta wonder if they're seeing all this. If there's people out there that are seeing all this and they're going, okay, it's that time. We need to come out. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Curious. My apologies for misunderstanding. Woof. Wow. So much stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Logan, I want to thank you again. What a great day today was.
Yes.
Seriously, absolutely amazing. What is today? Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday. Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm losing my time. Thank you, guys. Thank you to anybody that may have donated to support Miss Logan for the FOIAs.
Yes,
I will
absolutely.
drop those links one more time before we get out of here. It is so very much appreciated, and I am looking forward to these FOIAs she has coming, or these records requests coming. I cannot wait to see those. Get it,
Me
Logan.
too.
Get it. I see you watching it. Get it. Yes, I cannot wait to see these. I am super excited for those. I can't wait till we can do this again. And of course, we have the verdict room coming up in a couple days. I'm excited for that as always. Always a great show.
I look forward to that every week.
And don't forget, folks, Friday evening, I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be corrected. The last 24 is going to be live again. I do believe that he will have, I will be joining him. I was invited, as well as Truth and Neurons. And I think our junior, Mr. Dylan Hildreth, will be joining as well. Should be a great conversation, great show. I'm looking forward to that one. And that's another thing I was going to remind you. Did you, Dylan has tried to reach out to you, Logan. He said, did you get his emails or anything? Because he's trying to set something up with you as well.
Yeah. I talked to him. We are going to, Dylan will be with me on Friday as well, for my live at 5:30. So stay tuned for that on Friday. I've been wanting to pick his brain for so long.
Dylan's awesome.
He just has such a chill aura, and it, just laid back, and let's just chat and see where it leads.
Yeah, I love Dylan. I'm very proud of him. I'm grateful that he's doing what he's doing. I'm glad to see him climbing this ladder. He does a great job, guys. So make sure also that you guys are subscribed to Hildreth Investigates
Yep.
and Reacts. And you don't want to miss out on that one. Where are these other links? I can't grab these. I'm sorry. So thank you, Miss Logan, so very much. Thank you to your community for joining us. You guys are amazing. Thank you to your moderators for doing the amazing job that you guys do. Thank you to my moderators, as always.
Yep.
Appreciate and love you all so much. And everybody in this community, you guys are so very amazing. I don't care what channel that you guys prefer or what channel that you come from, go to, swear by, whatever it is. We're all one big family. I'm grateful for that as well. And again, this was an amazing day today, Logan. Thank you so much for giving me the honor of having you join me twice in one day. It's just amazing. I am so grateful to you. So very grateful.
Thank you for letting me join. Thank you for hanging with me and chatting with me. This was fun. I don't think I've ever done 2 lives in one day, and I'm glad it was with you because I think you and I could just chat forever.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So
it's always
much to talk
been
about.
great chemistry. Yes, ma'am. Thank you again. And everybody in the chat, as always, guys, you know how it works. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Make sure that how do you say it? What do you say, Miss Logan?
Do something nice for yourself today. Be kind, but more importantly, be kind to your animals.
Absolutely. And don't forget to love yourselves, love each other. Don't change anything because you truly are the beautiful people. And that is what I love about you all, is you being you. Have a great night, folks. Nothing but love to you all. Bye-bye.
We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in the pouring rain. No hidden corners left to creep. The dark truth woke while the city was asleep. The evidence lines up straight and true. A perfect picture of what they chose to do. The quiet street erupts in flashing light. A reckoning delivered in the night. SWAT serves the warrant, loud and clear. The sound of justice, the only thing we hear. At the True Crime Cafe, we watch the suspect finally pay. The dark truth is backed and signed and sealed. The wound is closed, the name is finally healed. It's finally healed. The cafe's empty, closed for the night. We put the darkness back into the light. We'll wipe the counter